Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4playernetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Yes, hello everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 594. I'm your host this evening, Nick Henderson. I'm joined by Brad Simons.
Hello.
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
Christopher Guthridge.
Hello.
And over on the producer's chair and the microphone, Christopher Davis. Hey, Christopher Davis?
Wait, hello? Did you get to press the fucking button?
I feel like
you're not muted.
You're not, yeah, you've been unmuted this entire time, Chris
I was
Davis.
ready to mute you as soon as you said hi.
What?
Hello.
Hello, Chris Davis.
Muted.
Sometimes I feel like Nolan's like, I'm gonna fuck with him. Oh my god.
And he does.
Yeah, he does. Anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. We have a lot of ground to cover on tonight's podcast. Not only do we have a new big game to talk about with Devil May Cry 5, we also have a metric fuck ton of news to cover tonight. So we're gonna jump right into it here in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to make a couple quick announcements. A lot of which is kind of around our Patreon. If you weren't aware, we do have a Patreon campaign where you can support us financially. If you feel inclined to do so, you can find us at patreon.com/4player. We are in the process of rolling out some changes to that, and a couple changes that you might be interested in. I think one of which is probably the most pressing, because it's starting next week. Starting with March of 2019, we are going to be substituting a podcast every month for a community night, a board game night. We're probably going to come up with a slicker name. We haven't really thought of it yet, but because it could go either way every month. But our first community night, multiplayer community night, is going to be next Thursday night. We're going to try and position these kind of around or in between shows where we'll be talking about big games. So we already kind of have it outlined for April and May, and there might be a board game night in there somewhere as well. But our first community multiplayer night is next week. If you're a supporter on Patreon, you get priority access, and all you have to do is support us at the $1 tier or higher. It's a level 1 tier, $1 per month. You can get in there. You can help us curate the list of games. Right now, we're kind of pulling in ideas. If you have a game you want to see us play in the feed, or a game that you would like to play with us and the community, you can head over to patreon.com/4player. Leave us a comment on the post I made yesterday.
Anarchy reigns.
If you're so inclined, anarchy reigns. Whatever it is, we want to hear your suggestions.
That might not be online anymore.
If I had to guess, probably not. But anyways, if you have something that you want to play with the community or with us, throw it in there in the comments, and we will curate that list, and then we will let everybody know a couple days before what we've kind of settled on from that list. And then next Thursday night, 8:00 p.m., we're all going to be here gathered together for a night of just playing games with you guys.
Yeah.
And it'll be fun. So come hang out. Again, all you have to do if you want to be a part of that, or at least get priority access to it, is be a $1 or level 1 supporter or higher. So there's that. I also want to mention we are kind of toying around with ideas. I've wanted to do this for so fucking long. A long time ago, we did this thing called the Revival Club. And it was kind of a way to get all of us to try new games, maybe older games that we haven't played. We never really got it off the ground. Maybe it involved a little too much on our end. So with the kind of the resurgence of, or the rising of like Discord in popularity, I figured this might be a good time to try and bring that back and get the community more involved. So we're going to try that again. It's going to take a little bit of a different form, where we're going to have supporters on Patreon who are part of the level 3 tier or higher, pitch games for us to play, and then for about 2 months we're going to be playing that game, and anyone who wants to participate can participate, and then patrons can be in there's going to be a dedicated room or channel in our Discord where people can go and talk about the game, tell people where to find good deals on it, talk about how to, just talk about the game, like encourage people to play it, that kind of thing. And then at the end of that period we will do a bonus podcast thing where we talk about it, and then we'll move on to the next one. So I'm going to be making a post on this on Patreon tomorrow where you guys can start throwing ideas. It can be anything. It can be anything, pretty much any platform that's like readily accessible. So within reason. Don't go picking some like fucking...
Don't pick like the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, don't pick shit like that. But anything, going back to like, PS3, era, maybe even further, maybe
farther.
a little bit further than that. The idea is you want it to be something that a lot of people can probably get access to it in some form. We'll be taking your ideas for that, and then we'll have patrons vote on a curated list from that, and we'll see what the first game gets picked. And I hope we can start the first one in April, so it should be fun. So if you want to be a part of that, you can support us at the level 3 tier. It's $3 a month. Check that out. But yeah. Oh, yeah, and the other thing, as part of the community night, which I completely forgot to mention, we mentioned board game nights. We're going to try and do some of those. We're going to mix those in there a little bit. So if we don't do a community night, we might do a board game night. And we're going to try a new thing where we're going to feature a board game on the stream during those nights. At the end of the night, if you're a supporter on Patreon, we are going to raffle that game off at the end of the night, and you might get the actual game that we were playing on the stream. Could be cool.
I'll
Could
give
be
it
fun.
a little kiss.
No one will get... That's weird.
We might even put a little note in the box.
Oh, shit. Personalized notes.
Lewd notes.
Personalized lewd notes in the box sent straight to your door.
And all ejaculate onto the board.
No.
Way to ruin this before it ever gets started. But anyways, yeah, those are just some of the updates we're rolling out. If you want to find out more, of course, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. We appreciate any and all support you guys want to throw our way. Of course, Discord, I mentioned it a few times. If you're not in our Discord, you can be a part of it for free. You don't have to support us financially in any way to be a part of that. You can find us at discord.gg/4player. We'd love to have you in there. But without further ado, let's get into it. I want to read some feedback from our podcast from last week. There's not a whole lot of it this week, but there's a couple comments. The first one is from... Wasn't there one above that, Chris Davis? Am I wrong? I think there's a metal button comment.
What the fuck, Chris Davis?
Thank you.
What do you have against the metal button?
Well, maybe he was trying to skip. We're once again circling back around to the Jessica Alba's bathwater discussion. This can't we can't seem to get away from this.
Oh, and cannibalism, I see.
Nolan was Nolan missed out on the Jessica
did.
Alba's bathwater conversation. We
Drink a glass of that.
I don't even know how to explain this
that like an
conversation
alias for
in a
something?
relatively short amount of time. But the metal button says, Nick, can you at least agree that Jessica Alba's bone stew is an acceptable means of cannibalism in a survival situation? way to roll multiple.
Why Jessica Alba, though?
Well,
Like,
it circles back around to a long time ago. Brad on a podcast had said something about he would drink Jessica Alba's bathwater, and it was like a means of like
Not like all of it, just like a mug of it.
whole
a mug, just a mug.
Yeah.
Just a mug of it? You could have gone with like just a sip of it. You went with a whole. You'd at least fill a mug up.
Oh, yeah.
He's going like at
Oh,
least
yeah.
6 ounces. Like,
is it warm?
Oh, I hope so.
scoop straight from the tub, man.
Yeah.
But is this like a bubble bath?
No, that's just gross.
What do you
I don't want to taste
when you take a
bubbles.
bath? Do you think Jessica Alba just gets some hot water, splashes around, and then gets out?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think that's
let's
how
see.
baths work.
In my vision, she's still in the tub, and I just go in there with the mug. I feel like that.
Oh, excuse me, Miss Alba.
I feel like
I know I'm not supposed to be here. I just came for some bathwater.
Don't mind me. A
feel
little
like-
parched.
that's an important part of the scenario. If I'm just told that Jessica Alba was just in that tub,
Yeah.
it would lose a little bit of its effect.
The fantasy doesn't work.
Yeah. And I didn't even want to do that. What I'm saying was that I had a brother when I was younger who used to say that
You had a bro.
as a compliment.
How do you say that you did it with?
That's what he would say to compliment
Jessica Alba?
chauvinistically or whatever. But he'd be like, I drink a glass of her bath water, you know?
Uh-huh.
That was, I don't know why it came up, but
Okay.
I don't even
It is
remember
what
the origins of this conversation either, but I'm glad it happened.
Well, you know they
The bone stew comment though came from at some point we had this conversation a long time ago, Nolan, and Nolan said something. I think it was you said something about you would drink a broth made of her bones or something like that.
maybe I don't know. Brad, you know they sell
not
like
the same.
they sell vodka that's been run over the bodies of like models.
yeah, I heard
Yes.
about that. But that's
Yeah.
all bullshit.
But what if it was Jessica Alba's like body?
I don't
vodka?
even have a thing for Well, I mean, maybe I did when I said that. I mean, not even then. I just probably named a random person.
Uh-huh.
It wouldn't be Jessica Alba these
Who would it
days.
be?
Who would it be?
Who would you
Yeah,
drink
who would
the
it be these
vodka?
days?
I'll
I
say.
feel like maybe we shouldn't have.
Does it have to be a woman?
No.
No, I don't suppose it does.
Get
Brad,
some
tell us more.
Tom Hiddleston up in there or something.
Okay, Cryptogriff in chat's like, your wife in all caps. Your wife.
Okay, now you
Reminder, your wife. Oh my
I
god.
don't think she wants. No, you know what? Let's move on. It's actually gross. So when you bring reality into it,
Gamer Beck says Danny DeVito is bathwater. I'm sorry. This is too
You could
much.
probably drink all of it. It's probably not that much.
that's
That's
fucked up.
fucked up.
I just imagine him in like a wooden barrel. On top of like a fire.
You're gonna have to tap this barrel because you ain't getting this mug.
There's some
ahead,
some hard-boiled eggs in there.
This is so bad. Moving on. Thank you,
Danny
Metal Button.
DeVito brew.
Oh my lord. Oh god. Anyways, our next comment tonight comes from Fuzzy Turd. It's a little bit of a long one. He says, "All right, guys, y'all are a bunch of flaming ass cactuses." I feel like that's
Sure.
yeah,
Is that
whatever.
racist?
I don't think
What does that
racist
mean?
is the term. I think it's homophobic. I don't know. Flaming ass cactuses for denying how many amazing Dragon Ball games there are. Budokai 3, Infinite World, Budokai Tenkaichi 3, Legacy of Goku 2, etc. Are
Goddamn a damn gems.
They're not.
Goddamn gems. Thank you,
No.
Crispy.
They're okay.
While you guys are dick riding Fighter Z for good reason, there is plenty more fun to be had in the other games, as well as rosters consisting of more than 2 fucking characters. As for visuals, by the way, Nolan is holding up a bunch of Dragon Ball Z games that he does in fact own.
Fucking Dragon Ball Z games.
Yeah, we've all played them. We just convinced ourselves that these were good because they were the best that had yet been released.
He goes on to say, as for visuals, Budokai 3 and Infinite World look jerk-off worthy, considering when they were released, 2004, 2008,
Budokai 3 right
respectively.
here.
Nolan's holding up Budokai 3. There you go. Finally, CyberConnect 2, the developer of the new Dragon Ball game, Project Z, has made many bangers like the Ultimate Ninja Storm games and Asura's Wrath. He goes on to attack me personally by saying, Nick, quote-unquote, says, all Dragon Ball Z games suck, unquote. Also, Nick, quote-unquote, Alan Wake is a good game. Go fuck yourself, fuzzy turd. A lot of people think Alan Wake is a good game, and Alan Wake is not a good game. Alan Wake is a fucking phenomenal game.
Phenomenal.
Fucking phenomenal game.
I would
I
have
don't-
given you maybe great, but phenomenal?
Fucking phenomenal. Go fuck yourselves. Alan Wake is amazing. I don't even know. I don't even know why he attacked me. I'm sorry. It's a weird game. Like, I have so many other opinions that you could have personally attacked.
DBZ games suck? I don't think.
I don't think I did. I think I specifically said that I'm not really going to be interested in playing a Dragon Ball Z RPG unless it looks like I'm picturing a Dragon Ball Z RPG in like a big open world. I'm picturing like these really awkward looking 3D models for anime characters. And I don't think that's going to look very good.
Well, it will. It'll look good.
Man, I hope I'm wrong. I hope when they show this game, I get fucking excited for it. So I'm not writing it off. Please don't think I'm writing it off. I'm just saying there are a lot more bad Dragon Ball Z games out there than there are good ones. And I think some of the ones that you listed up there are maybe a little suspect at best.
They're okay. They're okay.
Anyways, the nerve of some people. Great show, by the way. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you. I appreciate the comment. And he says not being flippant in that last bit.
Cool.
I appreciate it. That's all the feedback we got for last week. Anyways, if there's anything that you would like to say after tonight's conversations, you can leave us a comment at 4playernetwork.com on the post for this episode, and we will read and respond to it next week. Now, let's talk about some video games. We're going to start with the big one. It is, of course, launch week of Devil May Cry 5. I think a lot of us in this room, or at least some of us, maybe half of us, I don't know, consider ourselves to be pretty big fans of the series.
I'd say yes.
No? Nolan's over there shaking his
Before I
head.
played Devil May Cry 5, I had played about 3 hours of Devil May Cry in my life.
Oh. Good to know. Crispy, where do you stand on the series?
I really wanted to get into 3, but just didn't.
Yeah, for me, it's not that I didn't like it. I just never played him.
I thought I was the biggest Devil May Cry fan here, but then I remembered that Nick thought the vanilla version of Devil May Cry 3 was easy.
I'm already... First of all, I never said it was easy. I just said I don't
So
remember it being...
I couldn't possibly be the biggest fan.
I specifically never said Devil May Cry 3 was easy. I said I don't remember it being explicitly difficult.
I think I looked it up, and you said, like, what, that game's hard or something like that. But whatever. I'm just fucking with you. What do we got here, Nick?
I will never play Devil May Cry 3 on the stream because no one will ever let me... Like, if I die once, no one will ever let me live it down.
Shit. It would have to be the vanilla version, too, which is, like, super hard.
I have the...
Special edition. It's not the same. That one's easier.
Okay, so I have the PS2 version back in the day.
Yeah, there's two PS2 versions.
Yeah, I have the vanilla version. I have in a fucking box somewhere, but I have the PS4 version of the trilogy. It's never gonna happen, Brad. Let me tell you that. It's never gonna happen.
Don't take it so seriously.
Speaking of taking it seriously, I don't know where I'm going with that. Devil May Cry 5 is out. Brad's finished it. I'm like,
it's actually pretty self-aware, I'd say. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know where I'm going with it. This is gonna be.
You're mission 13.
I'm on mission 13.
You're on. Yeah.
I don't want to jump into how I feel about the game at mission 13.
Do you have Dante's motorcycle yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Spoilers. I'm just kidding.
Well, that was in
don't
all
care.
kinds of trailers and shit.
Oh, I didn't watch any trailers.
Interesting.
Who's Dante?
I mean,
In all honesty,
Crispy's over here like stalking us in the Devil May Cry 5 Discord channel, and then like dropping in after people have like put mountains of text about the game, and he's like, "So I've been like lurking in this channel forever, and I still can't tell if this game's good or not."
You guys are just like yelling at each other.
I know.
all right,
That is another conversation
I'm
altogether.
actually curious as to why Nolan you decided to try it. 'Cause
so I was in
it does seem like your type.
Hawaii. I believe I was at. No, it was not a ramen place. I think it was like a shabu shabu, like a hot pot place. And I got a text that was like, Amazon shipped your Devil May Cry. And I was like, oh, fuck, I pre-ordered that.
Oh wow.
Okay, I guess the real question, Nolan, is why'd you pre-order it if you've never
Yeah.
played a Devil May Cry game before?
Hype. I pre-ordered.
Was it like the last chance to get like 20%?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was when Amazon was still doing like, and so I was like, let me just pre-order it, and I can always change my mind. And I just forgot I had it pre-ordered. And
this is Alma knockoff.
And I was like, I guess it's getting decent reviews.
Yeah.
And so
Wait, decent reviews? This game is getting like fucking 9s and 10s pretty
No,
much.
it's not.
it's getting like 8,
It's at
8 and a half.
86 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
I think
Almost
you're
every
somewhat
review that I
embellishing.
saw, maybe that's just my
It was
feed
getting
that
a
I
lot
had.
of 9s and 8s.
So I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll play it. Even though, like I said, I haven't played Devil May Cry in the past because I didn't like the series. It's just because I never got into it. I played, like I said, a bunch of 3. 3 is the only one I think I've played any of.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
That's a good one to have
I didn't
played.
dislike my time with it. I enjoyed it. It's just I didn't own it, and it was back when I was like late high school, like early college.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have any money, and so I was like, well, I can't buy another game. And so I just never got into it. So anyway,
That was such a real quick, man. That was such a happy time for me because Tekken 5 and Devil May Cry 3, I think they came out like the same day.
Oh, wow.
And like to me at the time, those were like the two biggest games like I'd been anticipating like in forever.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it was the return to form for Devil May Cry, not just for Devil May Cry, but it was a return to form for Tekken as well after 4 was kind of the Devil May Cry 2 of the Tekken series.
so can I before?
Well,
What's up, Nick?
sorry, before
Yeah,
you go
go
too
for it.
far, I just gonna like I think it is kind of important to maybe mention the legacy of this series. It's like it's been a rocky, or I don't know if rocky's the term. Like the first
rocky.
game was kind of boring. The first game was originally a Resident Evil game and kind of spun off into its own thing when they realized how different it was becoming, and
Yeah.
it became this wildly different, like super stylized action game. But like,
It became Devil May Cry when Capcom finally realized, okay, Kamiya really doesn't want to do another horror game.
pretty much, yeah. So like the thing is that first game they made very different than what it is now. Like it has kind of that gothic horror atmosphere to it. It's like a lot more somber. He doesn't have nearly as many like one-liners and quips and whatnot.
Not at all.
Yeah, it is.
You're Dark Souls
It's kind of a
guy?
much darker, more self-serious game, but it has a lot of that corny, like, you know, early Resident Evil days, like, dialogue. Devil May Cry 2 is widely considered to be, like, just kind of a trash fire.
Yeah. I mean, it's really the only bad game in the series. There's that other controversial one, but, you know, that's still well received.
Devil May Cry 3, on the other hand, is considered to be, like, fucking phenomenal
Well,
game,
yeah.
and it is.
So Devil May Cry 2 came out as a trash fire. Itsuno was, you know, the shipping director, but he actually came in that project very late after it was already a trash fire and just tried to like kind of save it. Didn't happen. Devil May Cry 3 was sort of like this response. to like, okay, listen, we're gonna bring back everything that was great about the first game and like take it to 11. So 3 was a big deal for that, a big deal for Capcom and Itsuno, and
Had great characters, a lot of variety, great choreographed action, awesome mechanics.
Yeah,
like
it
it was
was
pretty
nuts.
much
It was
like
nuts.
it was the real deal, pretty much all the way around. Devil May Cry 4 was
Well
also
received,
was
so
well received.
well.
The real deal until I think a lot of people kind of got bummed out about because about halfway through the game it like literally folds itself in half and starts doubling back down, and you basically play the game twice, like forwards and backwards. It's,
I mean,
kind of.
it's a little different. I mean, you
play a lot of
you
the
play
same.
through the areas again as Dante.
You
but
fight
Dante's
a lot
very
of the
different.
bosses twice as the two
Yeah,
different characters.
you do.
It's to a degree, it's kind of a bummer, but still a great action.
Also,
game.
Nero was suffering from a little bit of a Raiden.
Oh yeah.
Like if Dante is Solid Snake, people were very surprised that when Devil May Cry 4 came out, they were playing not as Dante, but this dude Nero, who just kind of looks like Dante but cries more.
Okay.
So
Yeah. And then, of course, we all know what happened with the last game, DMC, which was Ninja Theory, and I don't want to talk about that
and
anymore.
Nero's back in Devil May Cry 5.
So here we are. We've arrived at Devil May Cry 5. And I want to say, before I say anything else about this game, I think this game plays like a dream. Like, mechanically speaking, when you're playing, especially when you're playing as Dante, and Nero's great too. I know Brad has some complaints about V. Mechanically speaking.
Well, we'll talk about V in a second. I will say that starting up this game, playing this game, it did kind of feel like, putting on a warm glove. What was the saying that we kept fucking up? But it was comfortable. It's
I don't know,
it's
but we're gonna fuck it up again and then move
I've
on.
played this kind of game before. I know exactly how this plays. It plays like I remember. This really is the return of Devil May Cry, which is crazy because it had been 11 years since I had played this game, a game that feels just like this, and it worked, and it worked well. At least with Nero and Dante. V's a little bit different.
Yeah, and we'll talk about him in a second. I have a fair amount of gripes
He's divisive.
about this game.
Yeah. Well, let's get into him, Nick.
Oh God.
We're here to talk about the game. I don't know where to go from here.
I know.
So can I talk about it from a
Sure, please.
player
Maybe that's a
perspective?
good jumping off point. Yes, please. Oh, maybe this is not a good.
So I don't like the feel of the gameplay in the sense that it's very I feel very disjointed and it doesn't flow well for me. In that I feel that I come to a new area and I walk 10 feet and I get into a fight, that's fine. And then I walk another 10 feet and I get into a fight, okay. But that just kind of keeps happening. It feels very Kingdom Heartsy in the sense that it's just walk down an aisle or walk down a hallway, have a fight, walk down a hallway, have a fight. But unfortunately in this one, and I know it's reminiscent of older Devil May Cry,
I mean, all of them, pretty much.
You can't leave the room until you finish the combat. And I'm fine with that. Yeah. But I wish it flowed better. I still feel like it takes me, the camera, not always, but often, the camera will change and I'll kind of show us a thing. And I get kind of, wait, where the fuck was I looking? I get kind of confused and I don't know what was going on. If it was more so, I walk into a room, enemies appear, I fight them, and then a doorway opens up and then I can go, that's one thing. But often it's I see a door over there, and as soon as I enter the room, camera zooms in on the door and it gets covered with things, and then it goes in, and it's just I feel don't fucking do that.
This game is so the last one came out 11 years ago, and this one feels a lot like that game. Mm-hmm. This is just, and because of that, this is just a game that is kind of old school relatively.
Okay,
Brad,
so you say old school.
It's not 2001 or whatever, 2008 anymore, Brad. It's 2019.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think because they're coming after DMC, Devil May Cry 5 had to prove itself as Devil May Cry's back. So my guess is that they didn't want to get too crazy. They just wanted to make Devil May Cry again, and they played it kind of safe.
And I think that is the game's biggest.
But I mean, at the same
flaw.
time, what would you have expected?
Dude,
because
are you saying that they Force Awakened Devil May Cry?
Yeah,
kind of.
But as a reaction, literally as a reaction,
I mean,
Force Awakens.
That's kind of what Force Awakens.
But
a reaction to the prequel.
But there was 10 years between.
This was their safest option, though.
I mean, maybe. I mean,
Well, here's the problem.
maybe
Brad.
it's the
Brad,
safest option.
Here's the problem. It was a safe option, but as a non-Devil May Cry fan, I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely fair.
Why could they not
The-
have
the-
taken the core mechanics of Devil May Cry and then improved on them instead
Well,
of
they
just
did,
kind
and
of
it's called
copying
fucking
them?
Okay, real
Bayonetta.
quick, can I get
like
to-
that's the thing? We live in a post Bayonetta
that's a
world, and Bayonetta plays so much smoother than Devil May Cry.
So that's I wanted to talk about that because I do feel a lot of similarities between this and Bayonetta, but I also feel that the character movement in this is so much more rigid than Bayonetta.
I will
like
say
you saw
this-
me in that boss fight so many times. I'm like, fuck, he teleported across the room. Let me take 40 seconds to run over to
Okay,
him.
I will say this: when you get to play as Dante, your feelings on that may
Trickster.
change quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
Trickster lets you literally like blast across the
Okay,
room.
I can't wait for fucking something like that, and it sucks that they gotta stick me with fucking Nero at the beginning, who's a fucking wet fart, and he can't move anywhere, and like outside of combat, I have the ability, if I run for 2 seconds, I start sprinting really fast. Why can I not do that in combat?
Which is crazy because the first time I
the
popped in
arenas-
Bayonetta, you double tap dodge and turn into a panther, and you're moving so fucking fast, you're ice skating all over the place. This is very old school.
Okay,
What's
real
up,
quick. So, we've talked about it being old school, which is true. And a lot of people are like, this is Devil May Cry, whatever. This is the Devil May Cry we want. I'm playing this game, and it feels so archaic to me. Like,
Hold on, real quick, because people in chat are talking about it. They're talking about Nero's grapple arm. That goes like 5 feet, man.
you can
With
can
the
upgrade
boss,
it,
oh,
but
oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, you can upgrade it. It costs like 40,000 to get the next upgrade. I've already upgraded it once. It now goes like 7 feet. And when a boss is like 100 feet away from you, that grapple arm doesn't do shit.
okay, so, real quick, just reining in a little bit,
Yeah.
because Devil May Cry... Brad asked, what did I want, or what would you want from Devil May Cry?
Sure.
I don't know
Or
specifically, because I think a lot of people...
I mean, I
A lot-
also want more ambition. For
A lot
this
of
series.
people... oh God, I had a thought, and now
I'm sorry.
I'm losing it. I think a lot of people assume that when I say I wanted something more, I was expecting it to be structured differently. That means I wanted it to be like open world. I don't know what I wanted. I know that I didn't want to go. I know I didn't want it to be a series of hallways that connect empty ass battle arenas that like lock you into the room every time you go into a room. It's the same shit. Like the little fucking invisible the walls appear so you can't leave. The enemies load into the battle instead of just being organically out in the world. Everything just feels so forced. Every time you do something to like unlock a door or something, it does that stupid thing where it takes the camera from you and like zooms it in on it. It feels like fucking Devil May Cry 1 did.
Yes. Hold on. Can I quickly call out while you mentioned like the enemies loading in the room? I've
Yeah.
never played V until this moment, and your fucking panther thing like spawns next to you and stuff, and I always think it's a fucking enemy spawning right next to me because all of a
He
sudden,
was an enemy in
like
the
I think
first
even
game.
right here, like in this scene right here, right? I think right now, like he popped up and I freaked out for a second because all of a sudden, similar to an enemy spawning, it's just red and black, and then it pops up.
Yeah.
All right.
you-
Sorry.
On what you said, it's kind of interesting because I will say, out of all the Devil May Cries, this one does have like the worst level design,
Dude.
And
People are getting pissed at me on Twitter and shit talking about this.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it.
but-
The level design and variety in this game is fucking garbage.
But let me explain something to you. From a perspective of someone who's not like a hardcore like combo fiend, Devil May Cry fan, that might seem like a bad thing, and I think it's a bad thing as well.
I think I know where you're going
But
with this.
I think it is more of a reactionary design decision to appease the hardcore fans, because the previous Devil May Cry games did have like a little bit of flavor in there, but it was always kind of like awkward or clunky or annoying or like frustrating, and I think they just wanted to streamline all that out. They did that with Bayonetta 2,
Here's the
and
problem.
people loved it for that. Instead, what they did is they made it just like, this one is basically no crazy platforming, just straight up combat. And to an outsider, it means big, empty, shitty level design, but to someone who only cares about their fucking combos, they don't care, because they hated the dice game or the board game from Devil May Cry 4, and they hated the platforming sequences from 3.
But like, here's the thing: like, I'm not even necessarily talking about introducing weird shit like the dice game, like you mentioned. I'm talking about just like making the environments that you're in. Even they could literally not change a thing about the way the game is structured, and make the environments more visually interesting.
Sure, that is a different part of the conversation.
I'm sorry.
That is the biggest failing.
I'm sorry,
of the
but Devil May Cry
design.
3 and DMC had way better environmental variety and
this is
shit going on
also
in
the
the
worst
background.
in the series for not just the design structure, like what you do from moment to moment in level designs, but also the way they look. Especially the back half of the game is all in that fucking, you know,
I was
what the Kula path?
Yeah.
What is this shit called?
I
That
was
fucking
reading-
tree.
I was reading someone. There was a critic somewhere on Twitter who was talking about the game as he went through, and he was like, I love Devil May Cry 5. But the game has some terrible like repetitive level design. I was like, thank you. And then he goes, especially the back half. And I was like, what? I'm in the front half, and I feel like that.
You're right. I heard that too, and I was like, what?
I was like, fuck this.
But I think what it is in that back half you also get Dante, and it serves like as so much of a distraction because you're getting all these new weapons and styles and abilities, and you're not even paying attention to level design. You just want to get to the next combat to try out your new fucking motorcycle or your new fucking nunchucks. Like and I will say, I was kind of down on the game before I got to Dante. Once I got to Dante, I started liking it a lot more. Because of some of that crazy stuff he gets, like straight up, that motorcycle he gets is one of the best weapons in the series. It is so fucking cool. With Swordmaster, he literally just rides his motorcycle all over enemies' faces in the air and on the ground, and it's just fucking sick. You're doing wheelies to start juggles, and I think that's just distracting people, like fucking keys, you know, of like don't pay attention to this garbage tree that you've been climbing around for the past 5 hours. Because it's lame.
If this game was literally the Bloody Palace thing, and that was all it was, I wouldn't have such a big deal. I wouldn't find it to be such a big deal. But like, if you're gonna tell a story in a game, the setting of that story needs to be interesting, or I'm gonna call you on it.
The story did largely take place in this fucking tree. And
I know.
It just was unfortunate.
And like, it all looks terrible.
Wait, so the whole back half is in that tree from the
it
beginning?
all is drab and
Pretty
boring
much.
and like repetitive and awful.
I mean. So people call it the back half.
What you're seeing right here is
since
like
the back.
This like train yard you're in right here is like probably one of the more visually interesting scenes in the game.
I will say though, like,
but Dante plays like a fucking train.
Like mission like 15 through 20 is mostly just boss fights, so it's not like the level design matters much. But you're right, it's not visually appealing.
I know I don't.
Maybe
want to
it's
sound,
a budget thing, to be honest.
I don't want to sound overly critical because again, I'm enjoying this game.
Pretty critical.
I know, but there's a couple things I just have to get off my chest. For a series that is so synonymous with like crazy over the top choreographed action, I am yawning in half these fucking cutscenes. Even the ones where they're doing crazy shit, like the intro scene with the whole flipping van and Nero like walking all over the outside of it.
Yeah.
I thought it was totally lame.
You don't,
and that's like one of the crazier things that happens in the game, like in the cutscenes. Like I am not enjoying any of the
There's not much
cutscenes.
of that in this game, honestly. There's not as much crazy action choreography as there are in some
If
of
there
the
was
other Devil
more,
May Cry
if there was
games.
more shit like Devil May Cry 3 in this game, in the cutscenes, I probably wouldn't be like, I'd be like, I don't give a shit. This story is fun as hell to watch. It's not fun to watch.
Okay, so I want to talk about some of the things I do like about this game outside of just the way it plays, and I do like the cutscenes scary. I even kind of like the story, especially where it ends up, because it's just kind of nostalgic.
I think the story is way more interesting than the setting around.
Yeah, I mean, like this is a pretty, like, it's nice to have a group of people who are trying to achieve like this one goal. Like it feels focused in a way that maybe it hasn't before. And it's, I kind of like it, but so a couple things I do like. I don't like V, and we'll talk about V, but
Because he's like milquetoast or like
Milk toast?
no, I don't like the way he plays.
Okay.
But I think his character is kind of stupid. But I like his style. He can read his he can bust out a book of poetry to like read during combat to recharge his devil trigger. That lets him summon a golem to fight along with him, because his whole thing is that he has
honestly,
monsters
V's
fight
been
for
my
him.
favorite character to play as.
I mean, I was in the same boat as Nolan here, and to
Until
be
you
honest,
got to
I still
Dante.
feel that way. I do enjoy playing as V. I think it is a little button mashy, and it makes it makes like
definitely
the actual like style
It's
system
ambitious.
in the game.
They
a
did
joke.
try something new with this character. You
And
got to give it that. But I think the best part of that is when you summon the golem, the way he like shows up in battle is fucking cool sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes like he'll just like
bust through a wall.
Sometimes he'll like bust through a wall and you don't see it coming. And I really like the entrance of that. Sometimes he'll just drop
he
out of the
just
sky
belly
like,
flops
like
onto
a
the
fucking meteor. Yeah. There was one secret. It was a wall. I just could not figure out how to get the orbs behind it. And then I realized, oh, wait a minute. So I busted out my book of poetry and I charged on my devil trigger and I summoned him and he bust through that wall and I got the secret.
Nice.
Like shit like that's pretty cool. But it's frustrating playing as him because when I go to Devil May Cry, I think like tight responsive controls and like combos that I'm in like full control over. While V, since he doesn't fight directly, you just kind of control these demons creatures, and they're not always in the exact spot you want them in, and it just feels indirect and kind of sloppy compared to some of the other characters, and he just doesn't have that many options compared to the other
That's
characters
my biggest
as well.
disappointment is like, why are they not
The
giving you
skill tree
additional
is not-
like
Getting
creatures to
flushed out
summon?
Well, I mean, you could get abilities to like level them up, but even then, like I dumped a lot of points into like the nightmare thing, but it's just too slow to be all that effective. Like you can like ride him around, but I couldn't make him do much of anything in a speedy amount of time.
It is really easy to make him do some cool shit though.
Are the
Even-
characters all determined? by
cool
the
looking
chapter?
shit. It just doesn't
well,
feel that good.
you can a lot of chapters like you can like depending on where it all depends on where they fall in the story. But some chapters like you can only play as V.
Is
some
that
chapters.
how I got that secret?
Yeah,
I happened to summon him at the beginning of this fight.
Yeah.
I didn't realize till after just until now that wall was open after the fight.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Crispy, there are some chapters where the stories kind of run parallel to each other and they go in different paths, and you can go back and replay them as different characters.
That's not.
When you get to the point, though,
but
when you get to the point where there's a chapter and it's like, do you want to play as Nero,
I
V, or
wish
Dante?
they showed the fucking percentages, man. That first chapter, after you get Dante, you get to a chapter.
And
It's like right after you get his motorcycle, there's a chapter where you could choose like V, Nero, or Dante. I want to see how many people actually chose V there, because by that time you've kind of
Everyone's picking.
You've-
Dante.
I
you're
mean,
just kind of tired of his shtick, to be honest, and you want to play
But
as
like
Dante.
Dante has like the coolest shit.
He has the
well,
coolest shit in
here's the
game.
crazy thing about Dante.
And it feels like story appropriate, like more so than maybe Devil May Cry 4, which is cool.
So Dante has always been this like
Legendary
like,
badass.
monumental like character that everybody was always like, he's so powerful, whatever. And I think it's really cool that you play you spend a bunch of time playing as Nero, who is powerful in his own right. He does a bunch of cool shit. And then you play as V, and he's pretty powerful. But when you play as fucking Dante, the fucking variety and
Feels like
attack,
the next level.
he has multiple attacks based on the face buttons, the direction he's facing, like 4 or 5 different weapons, 4 or 5 different guns that you can switch between, and then 4 different styles. And if you switch between the styles, all of those things do different things.
Yeah.
So he has like, I don't know, 50 to 100. That may be an exaggeration, but like combinations of moves that you can chain together in different ways.
You
just like
feel
the
like,
deepest
a god.
character
And after a
ever.
certain point in the story, he gets even more powerful. And I don't want to spoil anything, obviously. And you're gonna finish
I
the
got it.
game.
I got to
but
it.
there's a little bit of you fight a boss with Dante, and it's fucking hard. And so. But then I can't say anything. There's a little bit of a reversal that's really satisfying. I will say one of my big complaints for this game is that up until like mission 15, which after that it's mostly just boss fights. This game I find not only extremely easy, like for a Devil May Cry game, or
it's weird. Like this game is known for being difficult.
So it's easy for a Devil May Cry game, but what pushes it over the edge is that Capcom is just giving you daily login bonuses of gold orbs, which when you die on the spot, it brings you back to life with full health, full devil trigger, and they give you one a day
And you also
if
find
you
them
log
in the
in,
world.
I have
and
like
you find
15.
them in the world easily. They're not even well hidden.
I'm on chapter. What am I on? 5, 6, and I already have like 8. Like
They
gold
do-
By the end of the game, you'll have like 15 or 20, and if you wanted to, every single thing in that game that's actually challenging, by the time it gets challenging, and it does finally get hard, you can completely trivialize all of that. All of that. Even if you chose the hardest difficulty option available when you start the game. That is a real bummer for me because, and again, I maintain, by the end of that game, there was not a single moment outside of a boss fight that is even remotely challenging. It was only the last handful of bosses. like a game that gives you this many options for all of these characters, especially Dante, and to not have it push you to like explore and learn those and like level up, that is a failing of the genre. Like action games are supposed to be challenging, and this one is not outside of boss battles. That's sad. That's frustrating. And then you have some hardcore fans say, well, I only care about my fucking style rank. Well, the old games weren't like that. You didn't have to care about your style rank. Just getting through it was a challenge, and it was satisfying and rewarding.
And you would eventually get good enough in the process anyways that your style rank
honestly,
would be a big deal.
There's been a little, like a two-sided... I've been getting this vibe, and it hasn't been said to me directly, but it's this vibe I've been getting, and it's sort of this two-sided, two-faced defense of this game where people are kind of pushing back on me saying, I think it's a little too easy, and they're like, well, you played a lot of Devil May Cry games, and I'm like, well, no, it's easy compared to all of those, and you get these gold orbs, which is just kind of patronizing. And they're like, well, don't use them. I'm like, well, I'm not using them, but it's still like it could trivialize the entire game. I don't even need them. But
I feel weird every time
the other side of that sword is like when I'm like, this game's getting hard. Those same people who are like defending the game that I'm calling too easy is saying, well, I mean, you could have played it with, if you did it with Royal Guard, it would have been a lot harder. Or it would have been a lot more challenging. There's like this thing of like, oh, Brad, you think this is too easy, but then at the same time, you're still a fucking scrub. It's weird. They've been telling me that directly, but it's the vibe you get, and it's like, make up your fucking mind. I know you want to defend this game, but don't say it's not too easy, and then call me or no one called me a scrub. But it's like that. I only parry bosses in Dark Souls. Again, I'm not calling anyone out. No one is saying this, but Devil May Cry fans are weird.
Dude,
stick to one story, okay?
Devil May Cry fans are weird. I'm sorry.
Dude, video game fans are weird.
You're right. You are right.
But yeah,
I am not a fan of Nico. She's very annoying.
All right.
So she might have a chance of growing on you. I don't think so.
Maybe she will.
She has some moments.
What does this girl do that everybody hates or something?
Okay, first of all, nobody hates her.
Not everybody hates her, but she is divisive.
Well,
a lot of people don't like her accent.
Vocal opponents to Nico.
No, I get a lot.
Started that on Twitter today.
I get a lot of pushback. I'm glad you vocalized it, Nolan, because I thought I was crazy. Because my first gut reaction to her was very negative. A lot of it just has to do with her accent's annoying, but
her
accent's
like
annoying
really
and
bad Southern It's not even just that it's Southern. I can't describe it.
It's Southern.
It's a Southern drawl.
Well, no, but it's more than that. For some reason, I don't know if
that's
it's like
not. That's
Brad,
not
Brad
why.
had also mentioned the voice, the lip
lip sync's
syncing's
terrible, yeah.
horrible,
It's
and
horrible.
that makes it even worse.
I think it makes it harder to like, characters in general.
I mean,
Because the lip syncing is bad.
I also just think her character design is pretty.
I think it's
atrocious.
I think it's cool. I mean, I think Lady and Trish look terrible.
I think it's.
Did you ever watch?
And you know what? Those aren't even fucking characters. They're just like eye candy, I guess. They don't do anything in this fucking game, and that's one of my biggest disappointments. Yeah. Like, especially Lady, who was fucking godlike in Devil May Cry 3. She made that game, and then they do nothing in this game. Nico's the only one who does anything. You know why I like Nico? Because some of the coolest moments in the game are her van entrances.
Those are great.
And Brad, so the ones I've seen have been cool. The problem is, I think you could have had a better character driving that van. I honestly do think that the accent probably does play a decent a part of what I don't like about her. But I still think you could have done like a Southern, look at Cindy from Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Like that character was fucking better.
I feel the same way about Nico as I did about Cindy in Final Fantasy 15. I think I dislike her character for the same way where she's. I personally think her character design is objectified for no reason at all.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
It's totally
every female character in this game.
I know, but the same people that love this character, I don't get it.
See that lady bit earlier?
I know what I don't get, and I know this is me having a chip in my shoulder about liking DMC, and most people hating DMC, but the fact that so many people jump to defend this character, but shit all over character design in DMC blows my mind. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Those things don't have to be related.
I know,
I will
but
say
they
this
keep
about
coming up in
Nico.
conversation.
She's the only chick in the game who actually fucking does anything, and
She never leaves the van.
yeah, but I'm saying literally the only one in this game that actually does something. The other two just do nothing.
That is true.
And they wear these, ridiculous outfits. At least Nico has a personality. She's like, central to, Nero's new skill set, and you know what? She's kind of funny at times. And I like her van entrances. I think she's one of the better, new aspects of this game. And I'd like to see her in future games.
Fair enough. We probably do need to move on. We spend a lot of time on
there's
Devil May
like
Cry
a
5.
kind of a Scooby-Doo team kind of thing,
I will say, she has grown on me a bit because she has a few key interactions between the the van entrances are great.
She was in a church, called her.
That has nothing to do with Nico. That has to do with a van crashing through a building and driving in.
Her
That's
character's the
fine.
one doing it.
I still think that character could have been 100 times better than she is.
But seriously, Nolan, I felt the same way about her the way where you are now, and I'm still not a huge fan of her, but she does grow on you.
Okay.
She has some pretty great interactions with Lady. She has some pretty great interactions with Dante. A couple ones that I thought were pretty good with Nero. Give her some time. She'll grow on you a bit.
She's weird, and that's kind of maybe why I
Weird
like.
is fine. I like weird, quirky characters. I honestly do think that maybe the accent is a big part of it that's throwing me
Yeah,
off. I
get
really
that.
fucking hate the way she sounds.
We're Texans. So, I think Jaeger brought it
Jaeger
up
mentioned
that,
it,
that we're more critical because we're Southerners. Just like,
But
he might be with a bad British accent,
But it's not even just that it's a Southern accent. It is like the most fucking exaggerated Southern accent. It is fucking ridiculous.
As opposed to.
I have
actual
cousins
Southern
that sound
people?
like
Yes. Have you heard her? We'll pull up some footage
I thought
afterwards.
so, but
I don't know. I will say, I think she's a divisive character, but a lot of people, like her. I think she's one of the best characters in this game.
And they're entitled to have that wrong opinion, Brad.
Jesus Christ. We need to move on. I just want to finish this with my final thought.
So-
Did we leave anything like big out? I feel like we've been really scatterbrained.
So my big takeaway from this conversation is that this game's terrible.
Yes.
I mean,
Brad,
that's definitely not the
We'll probably
takeaway.
talk about it a little bit next week.
Yeah. Nick will
gonna
finish the
finish
game
it.
for sure, and I will say by the end of it, there was a lot of moments as a Devil May Cry fan, some fan servicey stuff that was kind of telegraphed, honestly. But when it got there, I was like, all right, this is cool. Combined with the fact that it actually got very hard, was an important part of me ultimately enjoying my time with this game. Also, I can't wait to hop into New Game Plus because that's kind of when these games open up even more.
My final thought on Devil May Cry this week, as it stands right now.
By DMC.
No.
Oh.
Is that if it weren't for Devil May Cry 2, this would probably be my least favorite Devil May Cry game so far.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
And that sucks because it plays beautifully.
the thing is that's not even crazy
Nick
because
hates DMC
because
five.
outside of Devil May Cry 2, all the other ones are well received. So it's not even that crazy to say.
True.
Also, you need to finish.
That's like saying that
That's what she said.
Return of the Jedi is your least favorite of the original trilogy of Star Wars.
Also, this
Return
game
of the Jedi is still pretty good, man.
also at a certain point in
Fair
the
enough.
game, it straight up becomes Kingdom Hearts. So if you're a fan of Kingdom
I am
Hearts,
playing Kingdom Hearts right now.
you might like the
He
story.
does look like he stepped right out of Organization 13.
You know what?
You're not far.
You're not far off.
Far off from that. Anyways, we need to move on. Let's move on to the next game. Let's go completely different direction here. Brad, tell us about Baba Is You.
Baba
What
is
is
you.
this game?
This is a new little puzzle game you can buy for your Switches, by the way. I know everyone wants to hear that. It's very important. It's an indie game. You better be able to get it on my Switch. You can get it on your Switch. I got it on my Switch. And, okay, wow. I started playing this today on my lunch break. And this is a surprisingly fresh puzzle game idea. Roll that footage.
That's sweet.
Please, God.
Sweet footage.
So this is a simple puzzle game.
Just keep. He has a system.
Where yeah, it's hard to describe, so I kind of want that visual aid for you guys. It is a puzzle game where you move a character around, you're moving blocks, sort of. You're trying to achieve the simple goal of getting to the
Flag?
okay. The rules for every puzzle are written in the level, and they're basically blocks you can interact with.
This is weird.
So if the
So you have to move the rules around
you
to figure out
move
what
the
rules are?
around to solve puzzles. So like,
Wait, do you make the rules essentially?
yes,
Okay.
you're interacting with the rules because they're
Can
the
you
words.
just move win over and say Baba is win and win?
Exactly. Stuff exactly like that. So like you might see a rule that says walls are equal wall is stop, which means you can't pass through it. You move stop out of that rule and all of a sudden you can walk through walls, right? But if you move, and your guy's name is Baba, if you say Baba, if you say wall is you, all of a sudden you're the entire walls of the level and you're moving the walls around. Yeah. So
This is madness.
It is madness. So like here,
Rock is push.
let me just. So these are levels I've actually already beaten in. It's kind of weird to record footage of this game because it's like, oh, do I like fail on purpose? Do I show them how this works? So I actually end up getting through these pretty quick, and then I get to a level that I haven't actually beaten in. It's actually a pretty hard level. So you'll see that in a second. You kind of see the thought process here, but it's so clever, and it's also kind of fiendishly difficult. Like where I am now, it's legitimately hard. So in this level, like look, it says skull is death, which means if I touch a skull, I'm gonna die, right? So there's actually a lot of different ways maybe you could solve this puzzle, and here I actually managed to push the rocks through that barrier and just move the skull out of that, basically that command, right? So now all of a sudden that's been deactivated and I could just walk through the skulls and touch the flag. And the reason that flag is the end of that level is because up in the corner
It says flag.
you can't actually move those blocks because they're in the fucking corner. So you know that has to be the win condition. That flag is win. But you could maybe change it to like
Skull
in
is
another
win.
level to where rock is win, and all of a sudden touching the rock beats the level.
Dude, that's so cool.
It's
Wait, I
fucking
saw
crazy.
one where you turned yourself into the flag. Can you move then if you're the flag?
Yeah, if you turn yourself into the flag, you can move.
Can you chain stuff where you can say like Baba is flag is win?
So I've done stuff where like I beat my head against it for a long time. I cannot get past that barrier. I've manipulated like some ises and some conditions around to where I was both myself and like a rock that was on the other side of the barrier. So then me moving was moving my dude and the rock at the same time. And look, I'm moving. I'm the wall, and the wall touches the flag, and I beat the level.
What the fuck?
Because I am the wall, and all I have to do is touch the flag.
That is dope.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Can you do like Baba is?
No, that doesn't make sense, I guess. But
It depends on what your definition of
be like
is.
philosophical, metaphysical. But you can do like some surprisingly crazy shit, and this is absolutely an aha game. But it is a legitimately challenging puzzle game. I actually surprised how. I actually was surprised by how quickly this game got challenging, and it is kind of a kick in the dick. But it has been very rewarding and very clever. So I think I'm just gonna go to this.
I love kicking the dick puzzle games.
Another level I've already done. So here, like I'm moving. So here it says the win condition is just touch the heart, right? Or touch love. Love is win, right? And every time I move, I'm moving these other creatures around, which I learn are that Kiki thing, right? So I said the Kiki is love, and then I just touch one of them, and that's the end of the level.
Huh? But does it tell you what a kiki is, or you just kind of have to like?
You got to experiment.
To
So
assess it out.
so here's one I hadn't done before, and I get kind of stuck here.
Baba is you.
Which
Flag is win.
This is a game that's hard to describe. If you have the visual aid, you can kind of.
DTH in chat says if you move Baba from Baba is you with nothing there, you can't move.
Yeah, it just stops because
you're no longer-
you broke the you broke.
not
It doesn't make any sense. So one of the cool things about this game is you can there's a rewind button. So anytime you want, especially if you move a block into a corner where you can't move it again, you just hit the rewind button to undo that. So it's like a very nice streamlined way to play it, and it's also like with the press of a button you can restart the whole level. But you often don't have to restart. You could just spam that rewind button to kind of get back to where you were thinking before. I actually get stuck on this one more than I have to, but I'll just tell you.
Baba is win, right? Baba's win. Flag is
So when you become the
yeah.
flag, what's
I
the
figured
win
that out.
condition? Oh, wait. There's no win condition.
So it kind of depends on how you set it up, but I'm kind of not really getting it here. When I finally do, it makes sense. I turn myself into the flag for a little while, but it's sort of you kind of gotta work backwards a little bit from you know the rules that you can't move. So those are going to be important and kind of working around those, right?
Baba is win.
Yeah, so I said Baba is win. So this next one, I get through it in this footage, but it really does take me a while. It's like fiendishly clever because there's sort of like it sort of tricks you at first into doing one thing. But like here, the
flag
win
is defeat.
The flag is defeat. So if I touch the flag, I get to the flag, but if I touch it, I'm gonna
So
die.
You got to
So
change
I
the
move
rules.
this. So in a previous
Flag is win, crab is defeat.
recording, I pushed the rock over and it turned flag as in the win, but it turned crab as in the defeat, and I couldn't figure out how to get past the crabs. So then I realized that like
And then
okay,
move wall is stop. Can you pull the wall out of wall is stop?
can I pull the wall?
Yeah,
out
down
of
there
the
on the
wall?
left
Stop.
We can't-
Oh no, you can't pull. You can only
Oh, you
push.
can't pull.
So when a rule's in the corner, that's how you know you can't really fuck with it. But sometimes you can drag an is and another condition over to it.
Oh,
And modify it that way, right? Again, it's hard to talk about. It's hard to describe it. I know we're watching this.
This is one of those things that if you're
You
listening
have to see it.
If you're listening to this at home and it sounds interesting, but you have no fucking idea what we're talking about,
Oh my god.
YouTube it or something.
This
Well,
kind of reminds.
We're not going to get through this puzzle, but this one involves me turning into both getting the rock on the other side of those crabs before they were defeat and becoming both the rock and Baba at the same time and kind of moving. Yeah, it's stupid clever. It's very challenging. It's $15. You can play it on the Switch. I highly recommend it.
This game looks awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really fucking
Baba
cool.
is you. If that
Baba
sounds,
is
if
you.
that sounds
Baba's
like your
not
jam,
always you. Sometimes you're a fucking rock. Sometimes Baba is
rock
win.
you.
Yeah,
Sometimes you is win.
Yeah.
No,
No,
wait.
you as win
You
doesn't
can't
work.
do that. Yeah. 'cause
Baba is win works,
Baba's
but only if win is.
sometimes
Baba.
Baba. Is
So if you
right.
push,
Fuck!
that's weird. I'm
You
hurting
as
my
well.
brain thinking about this now. But yeah,
It's hard
is
to follow the footage too because sometimes I'm rewinding, so it looks like I'm pulling, but I'm actually rewinding the push.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But when you play it, it all makes sense, even though it's really difficult. I realize I already fucked up here.
It's cool as
I'm
fuck
gonna
though.
have to restart. But yeah,
Baba is you.
recommended
For
Very
the
cool.
Switch. Highly recommended. We have one more game to talk about, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. Nolan and I have been playing another Capcom game. Nolan and I have been co-oping Resident Evil 6. We finally made it. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself.
We're 7 hours in, and
We're
we're
s-
on chapter like 4.
we're on chapter 4 of the first of 4
7
campaigns.
hours in, you're 10% of the way through the game, or something.
So this is the kind of what I've been building up. This is like the game I decided I was gonna like finish my series run on because I just played 7 more recently and I don't want to replay that just yet. And I was like, but this is one that I have never actually. This is the only Resident Evil game, core Resident Evil game I've never actually finished.
Well, this is the only core Resident Evil game I've never actually touched.
Yeah, I mean,
I've played every other Resident Evil at least a little bit. This is the only one I've never actually physically put my hands on.
the sad thing is, and I think I'm enjoying it a lot more because I'm playing it with Nolan. If I was playing this by myself, I probably would have dropped it already. But the sad thing is that we've spent 7 hours. I'm starting to get a little burnt out already, and I'm still playing the content I've already played before.
And it's also apparently the best content.
By the way,
you redo
yeah, which is
stuff too in the other scenarios that you've already done with other characters.
There are some very unique co-op scenarios I'll get to in a second. I just want to say I recorded this footage today. I just want y'all to watch how many sharks are jumped over the course of this footage.
It's pretty ridiculous.
I recorded footage that takes place on an airplane that's about to crash land in China. And
In a volcano.
this is so much worse than the volcano.
I really hated the UI in this.
Oh,
So they took they made some really strange changes, especially coming right off of playing Resident Evil 5 with Nolan. We loved the UI system
the
in that,
attaché case and being able to exchange stuff with each other. That was fucking beautiful.
the ability to exchange items in this game is gone.
Yeah.
It's
so
for whatever
stupid.
reason they took it
Well, so the reason that's the case, and it's another decision I don't like that they did, is each person's world is persistent. So if Nick breaks a crate, there's an item in it for each of us, but we can't interact with each other's items, and they're not always the same item, but we each have our own.
Yeah, and also
I don't like that.
I like that.
There are also emblems. Wait, what did you say?
I like the fucking backwards.
Oh,
like,
No,
No,
so
that's
that's one of the
the
cool
coolest shit
mechanics.
That's
of
the
the game.
only good part about
But
this
at
game.
the same time,
The
while you
action
have
in
cool mechanics to kind of jump, dive, and roll around, like the satisfying feedback you got from like shooting stuff and like punching stuff in Resident Evil 5,
Oh, I miss
4 and 5,
punching
it's all
stuff.
gone. It
You
kind of
can't
feels
drop
like
kick enemies
shit,
in this, and
but it doesn't feel the same.
there are some like finishers you can do on enemies that are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like if some enemies will have,
Suplexing.
yeah, you can
They look
suplex. Some
cool.
enemies have like bottles, and if you do some damage to them and it kind of stuns them, you can run up and melee. And sometimes when you melee, it's just like a physical punch. But if they're weakened enough, you'll do some special combo. Like if they have the bottle, you'll like grab the bottle and break it, and then fucking stab them with it. Or if they have an axe, you'll rip the axe out of their hands and chop their heads off. There are some cool kind of finishers
There's some cool shit,
that I
yeah.
do enjoy, but the lack of me being able to just run up and punch a dude kind of does. The umph is not there. It doesn't feel.
You're
as
not
good
gonna
as
have
it
that
did.
moment where you punch a dude through a door, like
Yeah.
in Resident Evil 5,
man.
which was
And
incredible.
like, what happened to the red lasers, man?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the moving and shooting is one thing, but like,
So
the
the-
cursor, it just
The really weird thing
Reticle
about
me?
this game is that it is like you can tell that like the
you do so much of this.
Yeah,
bullshit.
the
okay, yeah,
pitch,
you do.
the meeting where they discussed what this game was going to be was just like everybody's like they were probably like everybody throw out your ideas for Resident Evil 6, and everyone threw out a bunch of shit, and they they kept it all. Like they did like this game is so unfocused and so not sure of what it actually wants to be that like you can do everything.
It's all over the fucking board.
It is all over the fucking board. Like no,
Yeah.
it is so bizarre. But
Why
with
would
that
any
sa-
of this exist on a plane?
I know it's weird. And just wait. Like I hope
What,
we
a
get.
mechanism to open the hatch?
No, why would there be a fucking door with a hatch like that on it? It's not a fucking submarine.
The shitty thing is, I died in the sequence and I had to restart at one point, so I don't know if we're gonna make it to the true like shark jumping moment in this footage. But like,
but I like Nick was saying, the game jumps the shark in the sense that there's like, think of like.
there is no such thing as downtime in this game.
Oh yeah, so think of like an action game where you're going around, you're doing stuff, and then some big think of like a Crispy. Oh, you've never played Uncharted. Fuck you. All right, so think of for those who have played Uncharted, because I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Uncharted 2. There's a segment where you're on a train, and like the train's going off the rails, and then you're having to climb up the train to get out of it. And there's a sequence in
Hanging
Uncharted
over a
3
cliff.
where there's like a
cruise
cruise ship that's constantly rotating, and you're having to navigate this changing ship. That is the entirety of this game. It is constantly a crashing train or a rotating ship or a falling plane. Like Nick said, there's no fucking downtime. You're on a fucking mine cart having to shoot explosive barrels so you can get through a track. It is constant something.
They have handed the reins of Resident Evil over to Michael Bay and
Yes,
let him make a movie.
constant
make a game.
explosions. Like, it is ridiculous.
You know what makes those
That's
moments in
kind of-
Uncharted so great is because you spend
They're
so much
few and
time,
far between.
quiet moments, just taking in the world, and it's punctuated by these crazy moments. This is like they can't let you have a moment to breathe before it's just like throw the next shit at them.
That's kind of not even what I dislike about it.
I mean, you're right.
It's more the way it plays, the way it feels, and they
don't-
really fuck that stuff up. And some of the QuickTime event-y stuff. There's like a lot of it.
Dude,
in this
there's a
game.
lot of like introducing you, because once again, constant action, a new QuickTime sequence, but you have like a fourth of a second to do it. Like the first time we were on a mine cart and you have to duck below these things, but we didn't know. I mean,
prepare
I
us.
would assume I saw it coming, so I'm like, oh, we probably have to duck. I don't know what button I have to press, and all of a sudden it's there, and you literally have like a fourth of a second to press X and square at the same time. You're like, you fumble for, you're dead. The fucking goddamn subway train that ran us over 10 times.
I'm gonna be honest, that was great because every time we fucked that up, you just got to see someone get fucking plowed by a train.
Wait till you get to like the Chris campaign, because it's just like it's like you're playing a shooter, man. And there's like dudes, like all kinds of dudes
We
shooting
like
at you.
playing a shooter. This is a shooter, dude.
Yeah,
this
this-
is like
this is
straight
a
up.
shooter.
No, but I'm saying like it feels even less
Like you're playing Killzone or something.
Yeah, it feels like you're playing fucking Killzone or something, or like a Call of Duty game, and it's like it's not good enough to like do this stuff to get away with this shit.
So, like, watch the scene right here. Like, you open the cargo bay of the thing, the monster flies out, and then you have this stupid sequence where you have to press R2, and he does it, like, first of all, watch the animation as he's doing this, like,
his hands into nothing.
Like, this is so stupid and awkward. Like, it feels so goofy.
Dude,
and you have
like,
I like the goofy shit.
this almost looks like a fucking Mission Impossible movie.
Dude,
But, like,
but
you're right. You're
you're
right.
looking at it from the outside in, unfortunately. When you're playing it,
But, like,
it's
Mission
not that
Impossible
good.
has finesse that this does not have, and that's saying something.
Dude, also, I don't like the music in this game. It is constantly, like, coming at you. Like, it's not like, like Resident Evil games in the past have kind of eerie, kind of, like, music.
There's been some great, like, save room themes and whatnot in Resident Evil, like really beautiful tunes or whatever that are, like, somber and whatnot. There is nothing like that in this game.
Guess what, Crispy?
No.
If you die for some reason, and you have an option to continue. If you don't do it within like X amount of time, you have to restart the entire like section over. Like,
So we died.
Okay, that's like some arcade.
I
bullshit.
died.
Why
And I
is
was
that
like,
in there?
Robin just came home and like I died. And I was like, hey Nolan, give me a second. I want to say hi to Robin. So like,
and then I like went off to go to the bathroom or
I
something.
put the controller
neither
down
of you
and I walk
continue.
out and people in chat are like, no. And there's a counter on the screen that none of us knew about. And I come back and I was like, wait, why are we at the beginning? No.
We had to redo an entire segment.
It
We
was
just
so
fucking
bad.
ran through it. We just ran past enemies
That
and just
is
ran through the whole thing.
Stupid.
So-
Who let that get through?
So real quick, I'm gonna kind of like try and buy time for a second, just before we cut to break, so I
almost,
can
yeah.
get to this one thing.
Well, I got something I could say too.
Okay, sure. Real quick, just to kind of give you an idea of what kind of like how sloppy this game is. This is one of the things that drives me crazy more than anything. Scenario-wise, you're on this airplane, right? You're flying to China on a mission. You're approaching China. Some crazy shit goes down in the airplane. Obviously, everybody in the airplane turns into zombies for a reason I don't even understand. You take control of the plane. You actually have to like turn knobs in the cockpit to like. That was a mini game in itself where the guy, she's like giving you commands to like try and tell you how to land the plane.
See, I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah.
Because since it's co-op, I was just literally fighting a horde of zombies while Nick was doing
I'm
that.
over here trying to fly a
I gotta
plane.
be honest with you guys. I'm watching this footage and I kind of want to play some Resident Evil 6.
I know, like you're not telling me.
I
on
know,
this.
but like, just hear me out. Just hear me out for a second. Like, you crash land this jetliner into a city in China. You stumble out of the wreckage, fire everywhere, and you, as you're walking out of the plane wreckage,
Literally as you're
you
walking
run
out
into
of
two
it.
other characters that weren't on the plane, that are part of the story, like major characters. Like,
oh, hey, what's up, Leon?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Yes.
that's great. I'm in for it. Like I'm here for it.
I want to say,
Like-
like the reason this game is what it is because at the time when they probably started development for this game, Resident Evil 5 was the best-selling game in the series.
Yes.
The best-selling game in the series, and Resident Evil 4, before it started getting like a ton of re-releases, was more or less considered kind of a disappointment for like the amount of money they spent like making that
Fools.
game because it launched only on GameCube, and by the time it came to PS2 it was kind of late. You know, there was some hype around like the Wii release, but like Resident Evil 5 was the best selling game in the series.
all right, watch me fly this plane. By the way, keep
So
talking.
the escalate from Capcom's perspective, the way 5 escalated over 4 was going in the right direction for the series.
Yes, this is a good idea though. Like this is what
I pushed the wrong button, so I was like, "Did that work?" And she's like, "No effect."
She's like, oh my god.
She's like, wait, are you in a Boeing 737 MAX 8? Oh no, pull up.
Don't pull your nose up too high.
Too soon,
You don't
guys.
even know the ridiculousness that this game goes through. You think you know about
Wait, is this mic on?
backflipping
Oh,
T-Rex?
yeah.
You think you know about fighting giant fucking Mothra on a roof? You don't
Wait,
know
wait,
what
is there a
goes
Mothra on
a
a roof?
Yes.
Fuck.
Dude, it's like fucking insane. The third campaign was Sherry and
God.
whatever his name is. I don't remember.
Jake?
Jake, I guess. You have to realize that each campaign has its own different theme. Their campaign is themed about two things. Number one, getting fucking captured all the fucking time. And number two, nothing but melee combat.
Oh, that sounds all. Okay, by the way, watch this cutscene right here. Watch this.
It's pretty
I'm
ridiculous.
flying down in the plane. It's about to crash. Who is this? Riding on top of a train? There's Ada.
Oh hey.
Also, Ada looks ridiculous in this
Sorry.
game.
It's a controlled crash landing.
yes,
You know,
right into the middle
like,
of a city.
Why do you
I
think
feel
you're
like-
turning all those knobs?
I feel like I'm a little bit of a different person.
I like
now.
also the plane is 10 times stronger than any of the buildings.
I feel
So,
like
you
I'm in a
guys-
position where I'm not as precious about
You guys are
maybe
just wrong.
the series that as I did back then, and I feel like I could take this shit a little less serious, or I could appreciate how stupid it is more.
That's why I'm trying. That's why I'm bothering to play
it. It kind of makes me want to play it, honestly.
No, don't get me wrong.
But
like
then
that.
I remember I played it fairly recently with Malia, and we both hated it.
As soon, maybe you're thinking about it, and even when Nick had told me how bad it was, I was like, it'll probably be okay. This game's fucking horrible.
Me and Malia, we tried to do the Jake campaign, and it just doesn't feel good. Like your entire character's blocking the screen at all times.
So also, someone mentioned it in chat. Who was that?
What are you doing here?
Farrakhan.
I
Yeah,
just crashed
Ada
the
Wong
plane.
is essentially Batman. In every scene with Ada, she pulls that fucking grappling hook, shoots, and just disappears.
Yeah, that's
She just fucking shoots
cool.
off.
Do you know what's
Data.
Do you know what's crazy though?
Huh.
I think they patched this game. When this game first came out and most of us were playing it, the QuickTime events and stuff where you like have to shake the stick, those were hard. So you would like fail them more. And they patched that shit to make it easier.
This is what I do. I put my palm on the top of the joystick and I just furiously spin it around as fast as I can.
It used to be hard to do that, so you'd be failing QuickTime events like way more, and it was so obnoxious.
Those were the two main things that came from the first couple patches of the game. It was fixing the QuickTime events
And the camera,
and
right?
they pulled the camera out because it was too far
Yes.
in.
Wait, this is when
and
they
When
patched
it
the-
launched,
half the fucking screen.
the character was like blocking the whole fucking screen from like feet to head.
And look
It's
at,
crazy.
by the way, sorry for people not watching at home or for people listening on the go. Like in this footage right now, I just crashed a plane. We just ran into two random people that we had no idea were there, and now we're fighting a giant monster.
That's
who
Sherry Birkin.
that is, I know they took a character from like one of my most beloved games of all time and just like shat her into this game.
You're
It's so.
fighting a creature called the Ustanok.
I'm like,
Fuck
what
you.
the fuck, Chris Davis? How do you know the?
Because I played this fucking game all the way through.
Tell me, Chris Davis.
No one remembers
Tell me, Chris
that.
Davis. When do they tell you the name of that creature? He doesn't exactly speak.
There's files in the game.
Oh, of course there's files.
No one remembers the name of this thing.
Well, I do, evidently.
Okay, I do want to. First of all, I consider myself to be a pretty like big Resident Evil nerd. I didn't know this guy had a fucking name.
Yep.
Also, you've never finished this game, so you're a poser.
You're right. You know what? I don't know. Here's the thing. Like,
Poser.
I want. Like, I commit. I've said I want to play this game. I want to finish it. I want to finish all campaigns. But I also don't want to make Nolan play 9 weeks.
I will
worth
say
of
one
Resident
cool thing
Evil
about
6
this
with me.
enemy is like he will like take one of your friends and he puts him in like a cage on his
backpack, yeah.
back, like a little backpack.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh shit, I can't shoot him.
You know what, Nick? If I was in a different place in life, I would absolutely play this game with you.
But you're not in that place right
No,
now.
absolutely not.
Never will be.
Okay. Last thing I will say. This is maybe a compliment of the game. I just do some cool things scenario wise with like co-op sequences for fights.
Yeah.
Like in this fight we're in right now, you actually get split up from your co-op partner. If you're actually playing online, you have other people in the game. You have essentially four people fighting the boss, so 2 pairs of co-op partners, right? And you actually get split up where you end up with your not your
AI character.
No, like if we were playing with the network turned on, those other 2 people would be controlled by other players.
Oh, really?
So I would have been separated from you playing with somebody else's co-op partner for a period of time
We didn't talk about
before it circles back. They fold back into each other.
Devil May Cry 5. We didn't talk about the online functionality.
I don't know how that works.
Oh, it's weird.
It's weird.
Can you-
You'll see players off in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a story of like Nero V and Dante trying to achieve a goal. But so you'll see like Dante off in the distance or V off in the distance, but that's actually being played by another player, even though they're just in the background. And you can kind of rate them at the end of the mission, like, oh, stylish. It's interesting. And there's even a level where y'all are together, which is interesting.
Nick, in the third campaign, there are several forced stealth sequences, and they are terrible.
I don't know if we'll make it. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if we'll make it. I would like to.
boo,
The thing is, even
Nick.
if I
Commit
finish
to
this,
the bits.
Nick.
yeah. Do you want to play Resident Evil 6 for 9 weeks?
I've done my penance.
Nick.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm doing this as a thing I do on my stream.
You brought this upon yourself.
Some people legitimately like this game.
Yeah, that's fair. You're
'Cause
welcome
they
to
like
do that.
the mechanics or whatever. You know, they swear by the mercenaries mode.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
Boo, Nick.
Look at this. So over the course of this footage, I've flown a plane, knocked a monster out of the back of an airplane. I've fixed a bus apparently in the middle of a boss fight.
Let me
Everything
ask
you're
you,
saying
Nick, what
sounds
else
awesome.
would they be doing? Exploring all the deep pathos of these characters?
Dude, the series has done more compelling story shit.
You know, you like
in other games.
Explore an environment.
Your health
You don't really do that in this game. It's just sort of like go, go, go.
Just running.
It's like don't stop moving because there's
Explode.
things to shoot that will kill you if you don't.
Yeah, it's so action.
But like the
it's
weird thing
crazy.
is like we talked about earlier, like a lot of the stuff they introduced, like mechanically speaking, like the dodging and rolling around and like the mate, like the contextual
Me and Nick
takedowns and
have
stuff are
scissored
cool.
so much in this.
Oh
game.
yeah, so we like to jump on the ground, right, and like crawl towards each other.
They can
All right.
scissor each other.
I hate how people lump 5 in with this game.
Intertwine our legs.
Like how 5 is somehow closer to this game than it is to 4.
That is definitely
and that
not
drives
No.
me insane.
That's
definitely
that's
not the
ridiculous.
case. Resident Evil 5. I'm so glad I replayed that game.
I was
History
really
forgets.
I was
It
really
does.
not regretting. I wasn't looking forward to me and Nick co-oping that game. The only reason I did it was just because Nick needed someone, and I was like, I've never
thanks.
played it. I really enjoyed 5. I mean, yes, they got a little over the top. The punch in the boulder was pretty stupid, but on the whole, overall, I really enjoyed 5.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad that you play. I'm so glad I included that in my series run. I just want to say that Fatal Frame in chat says this is only Leon's campaign, and Leon has the quote-unquote
Most restrained.
calmest
Yeah.
campaign of all
Jesus.
4.
It does.
Christ.
It's like no joke.
You haven't seen the grasshopper people.
And there's a backflipping dinosaur in Leon's camp.
Yes, back-flipping T-Rex. I'm not even kidding. You think I talk shit about the volcano? There is a back-flipping T-Rex.
Why do you
in this
think
game.
Evil Within was so refreshing?
Because
That's
it
true.
was
Evil Within came out in the Resident Evil's return.
Evil Within was refreshing because I was fucking scared when I played that
Yeah.
game.
There's that.
The fucking tension of being swarmed by like 30 enemies, so I have to be cautious and try and like, approach every situation with caution.
Also-
whereas in this, I just run in, unload fucking 40 like 9mm because I got like 200 bullets, drop kick an enemy, fucking throw like an explosive grenade, like jump, like it's like ridiculous. I fucking take a guy and I melee him and I pull a spear out of him and throw it into another enemy. It's fucking
I like how you're
ridiculous.
saying all this, and Brad's like, that sounds pretty
actually
cool.
pretty good.
But the Evil Within had finesse.
Finesse?
Compared to something like
All right,
this,
let's
it had
move
finesse.
on.
All right, we do need to move on.
Keep playing this, Nick, even if it's by yourself. It's going to be so much less fun by yourself. It's so,
Wow, way to sell it. Keep playing, even if Nolan drops out.
But you
it's
have
gonna
a point.
suck.
Don't drag Nolan through all of this.
Nolan's a good friend.
Yeah, that is kind of a mean thing to do.
That's kind of a dick move. All right, we'll see what happens. Anyways, we do
play
need to
with
take a
David.
break.
David
We're a
loves
little
this
overdue
game.
for our break. When we come back, we're gonna blast through some really interesting news, including a pretty unexpected announcement today from Turtle Rock Studios. Some big Google news coming up, which should be interesting to hypothesize about. And of course, we will answer some questions from patrons, and we'll do we'll read the first responses from our supporter spotlight for the month of March, who is Farrakhan, who I believe is in chat, unless he went to bed. Anyways, if you're watching
Isn't
or
it
listening,
Farrakhan?
Farrakhan? I don't know. I'm sorry. Maybe he can clarify. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. We have a pretty good amount of news to go through today. It's been a pretty eventful week. So what I'm gonna pass it over to Chris Davis. He's gonna throw up a topic, and we're gonna just talk about it. We're gonna do that. Let's do it. Our first one. This is a quick one, and I feel like we've had this news topic like 10 times.
Yeah, we have.
But apparently,
It's actually happening.
apparently it's actually happening now. PAX East is coming up, and apparently Gearbox is bringing Borderlands 3 to PAX.
See, this
Randy
is one
Pitchford, you son of a bitch.
I want to hear from Crispy on.
This actually, yeah. I mean, is that what?
It's all but confirmed.
Yeah.
At this
I
point.
saw that teaser, but I
Teaser
mean,
was-
at this point, I'm just kind of like, okay, like,
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, I feel like that's
like,
it's kind of a collective eye roll at this point because they've been teasing it for so long
yeah.
before like
Is
every
Randy
event.
Pitchford gonna be at PAX, or is
Oh,
he
yeah.
gonna be
I mean-
in jail? Or?
Oh Jesus Christ!
That remains to be seen.
Who knows? That would be an awkward game announcement, wouldn't
Oh
it?
man,
The thing
It's
is,
just a video from his jail cell.
yeah.
added-
like in the jumpsuit.
Oh,
and
good
everything.
lord.
Our legal system takes its.
added on to
That's
this, they also teased the announcement of a separate new game that is potentially a new IP. That they're going to announce. They're apparently going to announce 2 games at PAX: Borderlands 3 and whatever this other game
Yeah,
is.
but I mean, hey, don't get your hopes up.
My guess is that other game is going to be some like battle royale,
Some
something,
VR
or,
shit, maybe.
or like a free to play or something. It's not going to be
VR.
or that. But
Why'd you
they're
say it
bringing
like
they're
that?
bringing announcements. Are we excited about Borderlands 3?
Yeah. I remember Crispy really
yeah.
liking Borderlands 2.
I
I mean,
like
Borderlands
Borderlands
2 was cool, and that was like kind of like the primordial steps into what would become like the lifestyle digital service game.
We live in a
that are, like,
post-Destiny
thing now.
world. If this game
Yeah.
is or isn't Destiny-like,
Right.
what does that mean?
That means it's fucking dead.
So it needs to be like that.
It needs. I mean,
But
yeah.
then again, we're right now. People aren't so happy about these types of games
Okay,
because of Anthem.
People are
'cause of
really
Fallout.
not happy about Anthem, but
And
lot
Fallout.
of that, people aren't happy about Anthem or Fallout, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that those games just like aren't good.
Yeah.
You know,
At their
it's not.
core, yeah.
It's not like there's always going to be a certain amount of
true.
hate for them being digital service games. Which sure, there's going to be people who just never want to play that and don't want to see franchises that
They know and
weren't
love.
that before become that.
Or
I don't
developers
think-
who aren't too experienced in that
Right.
dabble in that, and Gearbox
Right.
is not super
I
experienced
think
in the service
Borderlands
game.
is kind of like a logical fit for that sort of.
Yeah.
But don't they have to have the infrastructure to make that game like?
Well, they did
sustainable?
have
wh-
Bloodborne?
It's not
No.
just about
Battleborn.
Battleborn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Whoa.
Which, yeah, that did great. Yeah, it's like about having infrastructure to support the game.
Yeah.
It's about having enough people to continue to develop content for it and support. I mean, those kind of games require a lot of attention post launch. You know.
Yeah.
And
They do.
And that's. I mean, the idea is that they're making a lot of money post launch, so they can afford to do that. But if a game comes out and it's not performing well, you know,
Borderlands
What
is a
was
major
the last
franchise.
game that Gearbox did that was like considered super
Borderlands
successful?
2 was super successful.
Yeah.
It's been Borderlands 2. That's a lot.
Well,
Since then
maybe
they've
that
had-
other thing. But
Since
yeah.
then they've had Duke
Borderlands.
happen. They've had fucking Alien Colonial
Borderlands
Marines
kinda
happen.
fucking
Battleborn.
planted
Battleborn.
on its face.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
Yeah.
what did I say?
Everyone's
Battleborn.
learned to hate Randy Pitchford.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different world for them for sure. But Borderlands is a massive series
well,
that can make
Borderlands
them a lot
the
of money.
pre-sequel like did okay, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything with the
Um,
Borderlands name is probably gonna do decent.
yeah.
I don't think Borderlands the pre-sequel was like necessarily a great step forward, but you know,
It was probably like a sidestep.
If there's something
Yeah, it
called
was-
Borderlands 3 coming out, it's going to do extremely well, whether it's a service game or not.
yeah. I mean, I would
Honestly.
like to see them knock it out of the park. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think if Borderlands can take to the method,
It's
well
been in the
enough,
oven long
it'll
enough.
be a really great game. I mean, like you guys know, I started playing Destiny again, so I've been back in Destiny Forsaken, and they've added a lot to that game.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on now as far as content, especially like post game content. You know,
Yeah.
so if Borderlands can get all their ducks in a row and deliver that level of content, like that quantity and quality, like yeah, Borderlands could make them $1 billion.
We'll
Like,
find
it
out
could
if-
make them a bunch
Good.
of money.
We'll find out at PAX East. What else we got?
Hit us with
Chris
another
Davis.
news topic. Okay, so this is a big deal for maybe not a lot of people in this room necessarily, but I know it's a big deal out there in the wild. Microsoft has announced the Master Chief Collection is finally coming to PC.
I think it's coming to Steam too.
Steam.
Steam,
wow.
yeah.
Specifically.
And they're also adding Halo Reach to that package, I believe,
Wow.
through an update.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
That is
and
cool.
that it supports 4K and all that good shit. So, yeah, that's a good news.
You can go back and play all those
Nolan,
games, and you don't have to
Chris
have an
Davis.
Xbox One to do it. That's great.
Would like to chime in.
Of course he would.
I mean, I'm a Halo fan, obviously, but the one kind of interesting thing I want to mention about it is that they're not releasing the Master Chief Collection as one big bundle at the exact same time. They're releasing them in chronological order on PC.
Like they're giving each one their own designated release date.
Yeah, the collection's not complete. They're going to release each.
Chris
individual
Davis, you got to
title as
talk into
time
your
goes on.
mic.
I am talking into my mic.
There it goes.
So they're going to launch Reach first, and then Halo 1, 2, ODST 3, and 4.
Huh. Oh,
They
they're
have no
including.
dates
Wait,
on
they're
those,
including
but-
4 in that one.
Yeah, it was part of the Master Chief Collection.
Oh.
Hmm.
I thought it wouldn't be because it wasn't 3/4, or it wasn't.
It was a
Bungie.
Master Chief game.
Interesting.
I guess you're right.
I once
That's true.
was quite fond of Halo. Hey, this is not on the docket, but people were talking about this today. I like to throw it out. Apparently, not only was EA throwing around a lot of money at big streamers to play Apex on day one,
Of
but
course.
reportedly They paid Ninja $1 million.
What?
Wow.
Jesus.
That's so much
So
money.
a lot of people are saying like, "Oh man, Apex is huge because fucking Respawn's dope. EA fucking didn't have anything to do with it." Listen, man, people might care about this game because of EA's money.
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean, it's a well-made game, but god
Dude,
damn,
They could have paid me half of that. I would have played.
yeah, Nolan would have loved it.
I would have streamed to day one all day.
Jesus Christ.
And other streamers got big paydays. Probably not as big as Ninja, but holy shit.
I would have done it for a tenth the price.
That's a lot.
Next topic. What do we got? Oh, okay. So this is I put Jade Raymond announces her new role of VP of Gaming Division at Google as the headline here, but that's only a part of this of a bigger story. It's just like developing and like becoming something probably much bigger than that. Obviously, Jade Raymond has become a pretty big name in as a developer over the years since she started at Ubisoft and working on the Assassin's Creed series, and she's bounced around a lot, and she has finally ended up as a VP of the gaming division at Google. But is GDC next week? I want to say it's next week.
No one ever knows when
I don't
GDC
remember.
actually starts.
I think it is next week.
GDC's actually a myth.
It could be, but Google is apparently planning to announce the future of gaming.
This could be a big fucking deal.
Is Google about to actually enter the fucking
Why
like
not?
console space?
Okay,
Why
so calling it a console space
Probably,
is a little probably misinformed at this point. If Google enters, it's probably not going to be with a thing you plug into your TV and you pop a disc in.
Probably not. Yeah.
But it's probably going to be the thing that dictates what everybody does from here on out, possibly.
Potentially.
If Google's really
If
serious
it's
about it.
successful,
But-
but a lot of what Google does is successful. So but a lot of
Yeah,
what they do, a lot of
Google
what
has
they
a
do
lot
is,
of failures, but it's just
Yeah.
because they have so many things they do. A lot of the successes.
The
stand
failures
out.
are like
Yeah.
weird bullshit.
Yeah.
You know,
Like the
getting into
glasses.
gaming
Google Glass.
is
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
serious.
Hey,
right?
don't get me wrong. I played a lot of Project Stream. That thing was not perfect.
Yeah.
It had
I mean,
issues.
it's funny you say that because a lot of reports I've heard from other people is that it actually worked really great.
I mean, I guess it had to have been when I was playing, because multiple times, even though I have really fucking good internet, it'd get laggy, and it definitely was not 1080p.
Well.
And then it's just I wouldn't. In its current state, I would not see myself 100% gaming.
well with
that
the
way.
announcement coming
I
next
still think that's
week.
the future of games. honestly.
Eventually.
With the
Yeah.
announcement coming next week, I would imagine this is still a pretty long ways
Although,
away.
did you
but-
see the fan render of what the Google controller is might look like based on the patent pictures? Yeah. It's kind of a iffy looking controller, but you know that's based on patent renders, and that's
We've seen
Not always
patents
exact-
for game controllers like prove
That-
to be complete bullshit in the
yeah,
past.
yeah.
Do you remember the PS3 original one of the? It was like a
boomerang?
boomerang.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
Oh
one
my
they
God,
showed
that
on
was
the fucking
terrifying.
Stage.
Yeah, no, that wasn't just like a patent.
Oof.
That was a real like actual thing they showed.
that looked really bad.
Yeah.
And then they just went with the PS2
All right.
controller.
So here's the
again.
other thing, Brad. This is kind of developed. I know you're probably more familiar with this aspect of it because it's like more recent. But can you update us on the id situation and Amy Hennig?
It and Amy Hennig. Or wait, you mean Crystal Dynamics? Wait, I don't know. All I know is that Google's drawing the attention
Of
and
some big names.
not attention. There some big names are going to be part of this Google presentation. So people are one saying, hey, they're getting serious, and two, are they like racking up exclusives? Who knows? It's going to be interesting. But I mean, this is all kind of a wait and see. I mean, this is a conversation that's going to be far more interesting after GDC. So
Yeah. So
maybe let's return
we will
to it,
revisit
but
this
it's scary. It's exciting.
probably in our
Yes.
next podcast because next week we're doing our community night. The week after that will be the week we'll talk about Sekiro and we'll talk about whatever comes of this Google
Speaking of
announcement.
video game consoles and whatnot, I wasn't here when it got announced. I don't know if y'all talked about it on the show. Was it last week or the week before? But Microsoft coming out with a console that's no discs.
Yeah,
Yes,
we forgot to
men-
mention it.
I thought we mentioned it in like a 4-player minute
I
somewhere.
don't think we did.
What are your thoughts on that, Nick?
I mean, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I still, even if that comes out, like, until it becomes the best-selling console on the market, there's still
Well, I'm
going to
just
be...
saying it's begun.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it already hasn't begun. I hate it with every fiber of my being, but I'm
Yeah,
eventually
but I
going to be
mean,
forced
yeah,
into it whether
yeah.
I like it or not. It's
I mean, you
either
watch
that or I
stuff on
stop
Netflix. I mean,
or I
that's
stop
just-
playing games. So
Yeah.
you know.
Someone I saw someone post like a thread or whatever, and they're like, "Does Microsoft have the balls to name the next Xbox the Xbox 5 by technically counting Xbox One X as one of the Xboxes?" That would be pretty ballsy. But to have Xbox 5 up against the PS5 on a technicality would be kind of funny.
Yeah.
That would be.
If Microsoft does it and announces first, PlayStation should jump to 6.
Just say fuck it.
Pro was our 5. What?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god. All right, next news topic. All right.
Oh, so this is
This
kind
is
of
a big one.
interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the major actors, I think he's like the main villain of the game, was arrested
Of what
Of
game?
what game, Brad?
of Judge I / Judgment.
This is why. Yeah. Okay.
I was gonna put it at the end of the sentence, but yeah, one of the main villains of Judgment was caught with arrested on a cocaine charge, on a drug arrest. He
And
had
apparently
cocaine.
they take that shit real.
They take it
serious.
very seriously.
Hey.
They stopped. They pulled all copies from Cell, and
Okay.
and they're not going to put it back on Cell until they completely, I guess, replace his character in the game
That's crazy.
with another actor.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much money are they going to spend to do that?
I think they've already patched. Apparently, he's also the voice of Olaf in Kingdom Hearts over there.
What?
Yeah, I heard.
And
in like the actual
They're-
Frozen movies too.
Wow.
Yes,
Like,
and they're
yeah.
they're patching him out as well of that as well.
I mean, this is just me not being super familiar with like their culture and how they view these kinds of things. Like, I had no idea.
They do not fuck around.
They do
with
not
drugs.
fuck around with drugs. Holy shit!
So
Like
so
Pretty
Here,
archaic,
that'd probably be
actually.
laughable. Nobody would care.
the reason I think it's newsworthy is because this could potentially affect our release, even though we don't take it very seriously. This game actually, I think, comes out in June.
Wait, is it his likeness too, or just his voice?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's well. So I know they're definitely going to do the voice. As far as the likeness, I think they actually have this happened before with I think a character from Yakuza 4, and maybe they didn't completely change his likeness, but they changed his hairstyle. No, maybe it was his likeness. It looked like a different person.
'Cause
It
if they're-
kind of looks like him.
If it's his likeness and they're talking about patching it, they had to like redo all the mocap
It kind of looks
and
like
like,
him.
oh man,
It's
that is probably not a quick swap. You know what I mean?
so the thing is, the game's already out in Japan, but it's not out here.
So they have to press discs? Well, no, not necessarily. I guess they can just
Patches.
patch it. Yeah.
patches.
Well, how do you patch? Well, I guess you could do a mandatory patch. I don't know.
I don't know. Hey,
That's a weird situation.
We're okay with a dude who got caught with some cocaine. Please don't delay our release. Cocaine's bad. Don't sell it to children. But hey,
Just children? Don't sell it to children?
well, whatever. Bad life decisions.
Don't make bad decisions.
He's still,
but don't take our game
he's
away.
already in the game. You're already. Don't give him any royalties. Maybe
That's
yet.
insane.
It's crazy,
That
right?
is insane.
All right.
That is insane.
This is still developing. We'll have to wait and see how it affects the release here in the States. But anyways, moving on. Next news topic.
Also, drug addicts are not necessarily criminals. They could just be addicts.
True. All right. Turtle Rock Studios. You may know them as the studio that made Left 4 Dead
Left 4
all
Dead.
those years ago,
Yeah.
and then Evolve, and
Evolve.
that game quickly people kind of
I
forgot
enjoyed
about.
what
Sadly.
I played of
No,
Evolve.
it was a game with a lot of promise, but it definitely did not have the sticking power of Left 4 Dead. And we've been kind of wondering if they're ever going to return to Left 4 Dead. Well, it turns out today, Turtle Rock Studios and WB Games announced that they're making a game called... Did I really put the word 4 spelled out? What am I thinking?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I'm going to make...
That's a
I
really-
butchered this overlay.
Ew.
They announced a new game called Back 4 Blood.
Mm-hmm.
The number 4. Why did I spell it out? I must have been in a real hurry when I was doing
Probably.
these.
All that cocaine really got to you, huh?
Yes.
It's almost
And-
kind of insulting.
Oh.
Not to
gave
mention,
your
I
eyes some
didn't
bad
even spell it
judgment.
FOUR. I spelled it FO.
Yeah.
Fuck. I butchered this on so many levels.
All right. All right.
Turtle Rock Studios and WB Games announced Back 4 Blood, and it's a co-op zombie shooter.
Mm-hmm.
They have not showed a trailer for it. They've announced that it's coming. I'm sure it's safe to assume that this is a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, right? I feel like you kinda have to.
FOR dead?
Yeah.
I'll let myself out. Fuck.
To be fair, it probably should have been FOR in that original game. Left 4 Dead's kind of a Stupid title. But hey, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Are
a
they-
4.
Like,
so
is
this
it
might-
confirmed
work.
that this is a zombie game?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
So it's not like Left 4 Dead, but with vampires.
I think this is Turtle Rock saying, "What the fuck,
Yeah.
Valve? You ain't
This-
making it.
this-
We're gonna make
They're
it."
like, we'll make Left 4 Dead 3. Don't worry, Valve. We got you.
I'm surprised it's taken this long for
Yeah.
somebody to throw money at them and say,
And
"Hey,
this
make us a Left
time,
4 Dead
They're
clone."
back for blood.
This is cool though. Like I've missed Left 4 Dead like a lot.
I loved that game.
What
That
if
was such a
Valve
great
buys up the
game.
project again and just calls it Left 4 Dead 3 fucking final? We didn't know who was gonna make that. Tom's over in the corner making some fucking card game. What's going on here? Yeah,
Poor Tom.
that's how it works at Valve. You just
Yeah.
work on whatever you want.
It's just one of those
Have you
environments
ever
where you
read
go,
articles about like their corporate structure? It's like insanity.
I have not actually.
It's insanity.
So like you just come to work and it's like whatever you feel like working
Yes,
on
that's
today.
kind of it.
Their desks have wheels.
I
No
hear
one-
they have a death lottery every Friday.
No
One
wonder
employee
shit never gets
executed
made.
in
Also,
front of the
well,
company.
that's Valve related. They let some VR developers go, I think, something like that. But whatever.
But yeah, this is exciting. So I don't know when we're supposed to see a trailer for this or anything. I don't even know if this could just be purely conceptual at this point. They may only have a
Yeah.
name. I don't know.
We once gave Evolve an E3 award.
We did.
We did. Oh my god, we
Hey,
did.
it was a really cool
Dude, it was
concept.
great.
That was a really cool
Idea.
Plus, there wasn't a lot at that PAX.
Isn't it free to play? Fuck it. Somebody suggest that for the community night next
I thought
week.
that got like
Yeah, I think
canceled. That got squashed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
No, I think they took it offline.
Evolve something phase 2.
Oh, right.
Evolve
How
phase
about we just
2.
play Left 4 Dead?
And it got meh.
Yeah.
Let's just play Left 4 Dead.
Somebody did suggest for the community night next week Left 4 Dead. Maybe that will happen. I think
2.
Huh? Left 4 Dead 2.
Left 4 Dead 2 is so hard.
Left
I
4
mean,
Dead,
Left 4 Dead
comma,
1 and Left 4 Dead
TOO.
2 are very similar.
Yeah, but I like some of like the other stuff. I like some of the levels in 2.
The cornfield.
Yeah, we can play whatever. I mean,
Anyways, yeah. So not a whole lot to report here except for the fact that this is exciting and it's kind of came out of the blue, unexpected. It's strange to see them announce something without having anything to show for it, other than maybe it was all they've released was like literally an image that had their logo, their company logo with WB Games next to it, and that was it, and a press release. So they don't have much yet to show yet, but I'm sure we'll bring it back up again as we know more. And I think that's it for news. Am I right? All right. So without further ado, before we get into Patreon questions, I do want to introduce our supporter spotlight for the month of March, who is Farrakhan. Am I saying it right now? I said Farrakhan earlier.
It's Farrakhan.
It looks like Farrakhan to me. Farrakhan. He didn't include the pronunciation of this, but of course, if you are a supporter, if you are a supporter of us at the level 5 tier or higher, you are now eligible to be supporter spotlight. We draw a new one every month. We send you a series of questions, gaming related questions that you can answer to kind of introduce yourself to the community. It's like a platform where you can kind of tell people about yourself, your taste in games, and all that kind of stuff. And we just sit here and we read it and we talk about it. So, like I said, Farrakhan is our supporter spotlight for the month, and I'm going to read the first 3 responses he gave us this week. The first question was basically just to tell us, who you are, what's your name, where you're from, that kind of thing. And he says, if I can find it again, where to go. Hi, my name is Matt, and I'm from Loveland, Ohio.
And it's not pronounced Farrakhan. That's what he says.
Oh wait, where's is he?
it's actually pronounced Mott.
Oh, he gave the pronunciation in chat earlier.
Farrakhan. Damn it, I fucked it up. I'm sorry, Farrakhan.
Hey, Chris Davis. Tag in for me. I'm gonna go, guys.
All right,
Okay, bye.
bye, Crispy.
I love you.
All right, Crispy has to bounce today. All right, my name is Matt, and I'm from Loveland, Ohio. Yes, it's as boring as it sounds. There's really not much else to this state besides the awful roads, and you can get Krita to talk about that. Krita is in chat.
Hey, Crispy, did you need this recorder?
Oh,
That'd probably be useful
I'm not gonna throw
for
it.
things
Yeah,
we're
please
not
don't throw it
talking about.
oh,
I'm not gonna throw it. I'll throw it this far.
oh my God! All right, bye, Crispy.
Goodbye.
All right. Sorry, I'm going to read this again. I'm Matt from Loveland, Ohio. Yes, this is boring as it sounds. There's really not much else to the state besides the awful roads, and you can get Krita to talk about that. And Krita is in chat, literally saying, Loveland, Ohio! Exclamation points. I've never been. It sounds like a lovely place. She says, Loveland, Ohio is boring and has potholes. I almost died.
Nice.
Wonderful. That sounds great.
Maybe they should take drugs as seriously as Japan does.
Wait, what?
Get those potholes fixed.
Oh, I get your terrible joke, Nolan. What is the origin of your chat name, Farrakhan, which we know now? He says, if I ever finally start writing and shamelessly plug my books, it'll make more sense as to why I chose Farrakhan in particular. It's a cringy and dumb reason, but basically a few years back, I started consolidating all my various internet accounts to better keep track of them. So I've had Farah as part of my internet name ever since. My PlayStation handle... oh my god. Zechariah? This is a very weird word to pronounce.
Zachariah?
Zekerai. Zechariah will be the last to change whenever this finally happens. So he combined those two. It's basically a combo word of those two things. That's Farrakhan rolls off the tongue much better. That's probably something.
You say that, yet you've been saying it wrong for so long.
Well, now I can't stop saying it.
Farrakhan.
And he says, apparently, we asked him, what is something interesting about yourself that people may not know? And he said, apparently, I give good back rubs.
I didn't know where I was going.
I didn't know where I was going either.
I give
back
good,
rubs.
dramatic pause, back rubs.
Interesting. You should become a masseuse.
There's probably really good money in that. Although we will never know if you are, in fact, good at back rubs.
You say that, and then we're going to go to a PAX. He's going to show up and...
Would you like me to give you a back rub? No, thank you. All right. Anyways, thank you, Farrakhan. We will be reading... next week, we'll start off by reading his top 5 favorite games of all time. So, thank you, Farrakhan. We'll...
Next week? Or is he not
Oh,
sent
no, he sent... You want a sneak peek?
I want a sneak
You
peek.
want to tease people?
I just want to see if next
right.
week's episode is going to be any good.
Jesus.
God damn it, Brad. You gonna read it in silence?
Interesting.
You gonna give a tease or something for the people?
Me and him do not see eye to eye on some of these games, but hey,
I'm pretty
I
sure.
respect the list.
I will say this.
There's
I'm
no
pretty
fucking Alan Wake on there.
I'm
so.
pretty.
Wow.
Fuck all you guys. I'm pretty sure there's a fuck you, Brad, somewhere in the middle of this top 5 too. So there's that.
Maybe it spells out "fuck you" with the first letters of each line.
Maybe.
No, it is straight up a. I'm gonna call out Brad.
Till
here.
next week.
But anyways, we'll hear from Farrakhan next week when we list out his top 5. Oh yeah, next podcast. Sorry, you're right. No podcast next week. Next week is community night. So the week after that, we'll read his top 5 games of all time, and we'll probably do a few extra things since we don't have a show next week, including his 4-player minute and things of that nature. So, and he also is going to recommend a game to the community that he thinks y'all should play. So we'll get to that next week. Anyways, without further ado, let's head on over to Nolan and answer some questions from our supporters on Patreon.
Yes.
I'm passing it to you.
Okay, go. So we have no new patrons this week, but that's all right. We love all of our current patrons.
Check out our update. We updated some stuff. There's some exciting stuff. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And like
You
I
don't
said,
know yet what's
our
coming.
first community night in a while that we're gonna be doing monthly is next week.
yes.
We want you guys to suggest some multiplayer games and come play with us. It'll be fun.
All right. So first question this week from Judd.
Just Judd.
Oh, I think it's his
Nelson
full name.
Judd.
Oh.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just call him Judd then.
Is anyone else blown away by Microsoft doing the smart and reasonable thing in putting the Master Chief Collection on Steam rather than solely the Windows 10 store? I sure am. Yeah, no, honestly, that did surprise me. I figured as soon as I heard Microsoft Halo PC, I was like, oh, Windows 10, but they're doing Steam.
I mean,
the thing, it's the better bet in all honesty.
Yeah, they'll make a lot more money.
They're going to make a lot more money.
and that's the important thing I think for them right now. The bigger question is, why did it take them so long to do
They may
this?
not get as much of a profit margin, but they'll make it back in volume.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the real question is, why do they take so long? I feel like this is only a big deal. This is only a big, huge news topic. It's like everyone's talking about it because it's taken them so fucking long
Well,
to get
the
this
Master
game.
Chief Collection, when it launched, it was full of bugs and had a lot of problems. We also had to realize that this is 5 different games on multiple different engines handled by multiple different developers for porting.
No, I get the
Like,
complexity.
it takes a while.
That's true. But they were like very quiet about it for a very long time. Like, is it even going to happen?
Yeah.
And people were getting kind of peeved about that. Anyways, next question.
Moving on. Next question from Fuzzy Turd. What are some of the funniest games you've ever played? It doesn't matter if they were designed as such or just the experiences you had were funny due to the interactions with others or something else.
Like Hitman can be really funny, even though it's not an explicitly funny game. Although I will say that that's not necessarily true. There's
Dude,
a lot of dark humor.
the Metal Gear Solid games.
Yeah.
They're so fucking goofy, and especially like 3. Just so much shit you could do in that game. That was just like over the top.
I mean, an obvious choice is, Grand Theft Auto has some pretty hilarious moments in it.
Oh, just the writing of those.
Yeah.
I would Jazz Punk.
Jazz Punk's really funny.
WarioWare.
WarioWare.
Some of those
really
games
funny.
are pretty fucking funny.
What's the
both? Just the whole. You laugh your ass off when you figure out like what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Portal.
Portal's really
good.
funny.
Portal's fucking good.
A lot of Tim Schafer stuff is really funny.
Stacking comes to mind?
Stacking's pretty good.
But
Double Fine stuff in general.
Yeah, Double Fine stuff in general is great. What's the game? It was
I think
a couple
Puppeteer's
years ago
really funny.
where it's like self-aware and it's about game development. I think it's about game development. I could be. It starts with a P. Oh my god,
Stanley Parable.
The Stanley Parable. Thank
Stanley
you.
Parable,
yeah.
Jesus Christ, I could not think of that.
Elite Beat Agents.
The
gameplay's not funny. It's what's going on in like
the comics and stuff.
Like,
are really funny, yeah.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good pool.
How about No More Heroes? Has some pretty good humor in there.
Resident
if you
Evil
play
6.
the original
Resident Evil 6, there we go. For the wrong reasons, perhaps.
If you play the original Japanese version of Elite Beat Agents, I think it's called Oendon, something like that.
Yeah,
Oendon.
Like there are completely different like puzzles and songs that happen that are like topics that wouldn't
fly here.
Wouldn't fly at all.
Like
there's one where they're cheering on a guy who's trying to take a shit on a toilet.
Well, that sounds like No More Heroes.
I remember there's very specifically some stuff from last year that I thought was really funny. But whew.
I don't know. We
the
got some good ones.
Yakuza games are super fucking
Yakuza
funny.
games are hilarious.
For sure.
There's a lot of good funny games.
All right, moving
out
on. Chai, can you think of a time when a game got you heavily emotionally invested, good or bad? Was it just the game's plot, or was it also a case of right game? Right game, right time in your life. A quick example is Crispy's reactions to the end of Tales from the Borderlands or Nier Automata.
I'm gonna go ahead and say,
Tales from the Borderlands definitely got a little emotional.
Most games on my like top 10 games of all time are there because I was emotionally invested in them.
Yeah.
Both Red Dead Redemptions come to mind for sure. Let's see, Final Fantasy X.
The Last of Us, man.
The Last of Us. Holy
so
shit!
emotionally involved
Like
in
a
that
lot of
game.
it is really about the characters and the writing and how those things turns out.
The Uncharted series.
Uncharted?
Dude,
Oh my God.
I've mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. The fucking elevator scene from Uncharted 4. Dude, that fucking gets me. When Drake and Elena are riding up the elevator, like they drive the Jeep and they get on the elevator and they're going up.
Oh,
and
yeah,
they just
yeah,
have
yeah,
that
yeah.
conversation.
You said elevator. I
Yeah.
picture them in like
Sorry,
a building elevator. I was like, I don't
the
remember
cargo
that.
elevator.
DLC.
Yeah.
And then it's just like silence for a while. Dude, that's intense.
Dude, I'm so invested in Drake and Nathan and Elena's relationship.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, yes, shipping them all the way. Fantastic.
Also, Life is Strange.
Life is
Life Strange is
yeah.
pretty good. Oh god, I just had one.
You're shipping two people who are already married.
Yes, true. That's true. That's a good point. But
Making two people who love each other again.
yes. But Final Fantasy X comes to mind. Like the end of that is kind of a gut punch.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a gut punch, but it's hard for me to recall like how much I
Truly remember.
or like
Lost
felt
Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
back then. You know,
I'll always mention Lost Odyssey. So
I
Lost
never got
Odyssey,
past
dude.
disc
Oh,
one.
dude, how do we forget
You
Saints
read some of
Row
those
when we were talking about
stories.
funny games?
stories. Well, not just
did we
that, but Kime and
Saints
Sarah's
Row and
daughter.
funny games.
Wait, say again.
Kime and Sarah's daughter in that game. Like that's a
I-
whole.
I don't even think
character arc that's so good.
I don't think I ever met that character because I never got past disc one. I wish I did though.
You didn't
cool.
meet Sarah? Surely you did.
I
on this
mean,
one.
I don't recall. It's been so long since I tried that game.
Okay.
I wish I had played more of it.
Play it again.
I had another one I was gonna mention, and I fucking lost it. Silent Hill 2 specifically has some pretty big gut punch in it.
But he also kind of added like based on like
Or like just a time in your life. Yeah.
I remember, I was playing a lot of Divinity Original Sin 2 while I had Henry and a little papoose. While he's just kind of sleeping.
Oh yeah.
While I was playing Divinity Original Sin 2. So
now you associate Divinity Original Sin 2 with that moment in your life?
Well, honestly, even if Henry wasn't there, honestly, you know what? That game's just amazing, Henry or not. Sorry, Henry.
Now that I think about it,
he had nothing to do with it. He had nothing to do with it. In fact, he just slowed me down.
All right, let's move on. We got more questions. Mr. Greentos, with the recent news that Anthem had a bug that increased loot drops and was quickly fixed 2 times and led players so frustrated that they've set out to protest to not play the game, I wanted to ask what were some of your favorite bugs or glitches in a game that a developer patched out.
Oh God, I don't think I have a good answer for this because I feel like I've been fairly
I don't know
lucky
if
in
I've
that
played
regard.
enough games.
Flag.
Like day one,
I've got a flag tossing in Halo 2.
That means nothing to me.
So in early versions of Halo 2, you could do flag bouncing, which you could throw it at the apex of a jump, and it would bounce a distance.
This is specifically when you're playing Capture the Flag,
when you're playing TF, yeah. But on certain maps, you could control the bounce to where you could make the flag fly across the map and control it to where you get almost insta wins. It was just manipulating the physics, but it wasn't considered a bug.
I remember when they ported Final Fantasy Tactics to PSP, they removed the item duping glitch, the weapon duping glitch, which sucked because, I like to dupe, swords for the samurai or, of course the Excalibur in game. You want to break the fucking thing. You want everybody to have an Excalibur. But they patched that out. Fuckers.
But, what are some games that I've kind of like glitches like that? There definitely existed. I can think of, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I can think of multiple games where you did some weird shit with the inventory to get a bunch of extra items or something like that. But I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Not really a patch, but I feel like they kind of removed some of the more bullshit stuff from the Grand Theft Auto games as they went along. You used to be able to fly tanks and stuff.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But they got a lot more grounded.
Yeah,
no pun intended.
Okay.
The Cougar Man from Red Dead Redemption? I don't remember the Cougar Man.
Well, there was more than just that. There was
the donkey. What about the donkey lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were humans that
took on the characteristics of animals.
Yeah, that's awesome.
People flying around.
That is awesome and should have never been patched out because the chances of even seeing that are slim. And if it does happen, it's a beautiful moment. Okay.
All right, let's move on. Brandon asks, any insight onto what's going on with Blizzard? They shit the bed with the mobile Diablo, and numbers are falling with WoW.
Insight? No, I don't think.
Anything about Blizzard.
Nothing beyond what we've talked about. We talked about it a few weeks ago on the show. But as far as the layoffs go, we obviously don't have any inside information.
Blizzard is a tight-lipped company.
Also, weirdly, Diablo 1 got released on GOG. It's not even on Battle.net.
Oh, wow. Really?
It's weird.
Weird.
Like a remaster or a modern released version of Diablo 1, which is very strange.
They're going to continue to support Overwatch. They're going to continue to support WoW. Eventually, they'll run that game out. They're going to do Hearthstone, and they've got a new Diablo coming.
I mean, I think he's asking more just in general, what's up with Blizzard? Why are they sucking? Is that kind of what it sounds like?
It's time to do World of Diablo.
I mean, all companies go through this kind of shit all the time. Most companies that you associate with I love this company because they did this, at some point in their history has gone through a point where it's they did some bad, not so great things, or they did some terrible things that the community didn't agree with, whatever, and they usually bounce back. It's just kind of the ebb and flow of the industry. Look at Capcom. They had years of being subpar, and then suddenly
they released Dragon's Dogma.
They spent dozens and dozens of hours discussing a follow-up to WoW, a proper follow-up to WoW. It's going to happen eventually.
Oh, yeah, it will.
I mean, it kind of has to. But yeah, no inside information if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Zero Skies. It's that time again. Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, God.
Nero, Dante, V.
Oh.
Well, you marry... Oh, I don't even know. You kill V.
You kill V.
You kill
You
V.
marry
You
Dante.
fuck Nero and you marry
fuck Nero.
Dante.
Yeah,
right?
I think everyone's
That's
on
the only.
same
That's
page.
the only possible
Even
combination.
with what little I know.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
moving on. Fudgy.
Yeah, probably.
Not sure if this has been asked before, but I have had an ongoing battle with this question, and I needed it resolved.
Crispy should have been here for this. I read this question.
The answer's obvious. Does a straw have one hole or two? The answer is one.
Is it?
Yes.
I mean, if you think about like
It goes in-
if you think of it like a cylinder,
This
Yes.
hurts my head.
No, it has one hole.
No, it has liquid.
Okay, so hold on. Let's talk about this. So think of something that has two holes in it. You could
Yes.
probably put something in one hole, and you could probably put something in the other, and they wouldn't meet.
it has two openings. Wait a minute. Maybe there's 0 holes. Maybe you don't call that a hole.
I don't think it's a hole.
Yeah, it's not a hole.
Yeah. I mean, if
It's just negative space in between.
It has
something
2
else.
openings.
Yes.
I mean, it depends on how it's manufactured.
No, it doesn't.
Like if it's rolled over and sealed.
Let me ask
on
you
one
this: if you
spot-
took a Pringles can with no top, and
Yeah.
you cut off the bottom,
Stuck your dick in it.
you wouldn't call that a hole. There'd be no holes. It's not
Yeah.
a hole. It's just got 2 openings now, as opposed to 1.
But are the openings holes?
No,
I don't think.
I don't
so.
consider that a hole.
This isn't to keep me up at night.
Like if I punched a hole in the wall, that would be a hole, right?
Yes.
Please demonstrate.
But the hole is, I think a hole has to be in a flat. Well, no, because you could dig a hole. You know what? This is fucked up.
It
This is
doesn't.
a
No,
fucked up question.
I don't think it is. Brad, the reason that is a hole is because first of all, it wasn't there in the first place, and you created it. But it's also the fact that a straw is not something that is. It's not something flat. It's something that is, like you said, it's a cylinder. It is designed to have a circular outside with nothing in the middle. And it's designed to be that way. Correct?
This is one of those.
but you
is
could dig
cereal
a hole.
soup questions.
No,
What's
I
wrong
got
with you
it. I
digging
got
a
it.
hole?
I got it
You
because
could dig a hole all the way to China and see out the other end of the earth, and that's still a hole, right? Is it 2 holes?
oh god,
At that point, it's a tunnel.
there you go.
Oh, a straw's a tunnel.
There you
We
go.
figured it out. Next question.
Also, like, think about it this way: have you ever been drinking through a straw and then noticed that like there is a hole in the straw? Like you're not getting enough.
that's
that's
true.
a, like that's
That
a
is-
hole in
is
the
that
straw.
3 holes?
No, that's one hole.
But if you think of
You don't want to have a straw with a hole in it because then you don't get liquid.
But if you think about it on like a very very like micro level, like the space, but the hole in the side of the straw, you get like a microscope or something. That's actually like quite a thick space relative, right?
Yeah, it is.
And on the end, like that hole is actually creating like a little cylinder on the side, very thin.
No, it's not.
On the
Shut
side
up.
of that straw.
Shut
So
up.
there'd be 2 ends to
Fuck
that
you.
hole.
No.
Think about it.
Next question from Wangless.
God damn it, Brad.
The official 4-Player Network Club on Xbox has staggering 12 members. So don't forget to search for it on Xbox and join if you want to play with community members. Also, question to Chris Davis.
Oh,
When we're playing Division 2
Yeah.
and dabbing harder than ever in the dark. Wait.
I don't know about that.
When we playing Division 2 and dabbing harder than ever in the dark zone.
Oh, do they got a dab in that game?
There probably is an emote.
Oh shit!
Like in the first
Don't
game,
act like
I
that's
think,
not the only one you do.
I think they added a dabbing emote in the first game,
Oh
but
my
like
God.
I didn't buy it.
You fucking millennial.
I bought it on PC. You got to play it on PC.
All right, moving on. Next question from our supporters on Discord. If you
You
are
mean on
if you-
Twitch, but in Discord.
Well, yeah, sorry. If you are a supporter on Twitch, you can ask us questions in the supporters channel on Discord. From Scarecrow.
Hey, Chris Davis, real quick. If you give us a really good dab right now, we can get rid of that Photoshop.
It's true.
No, that's not going to happen.
Sorry, I shouldn't have laughed at that. 'cause
Yes.
I just gave it away. But
After you've all passed away, let's say you each become ghosts or spirits by some freak accident. You've gained the ability to grant a wish to anyone who is able to summon you. What would you require people to do in order to summon you for their wish?
Rub my ass.
wait,
But you don't exist. You're a ghost.
You're a
What-
ghost,
what, you-
Brad.
like your corpse's body?
Give me a ghost job.
Rub a Pringles can and I come out of the Pringles can. Isn't this what it's come from? Like rubbing a lamp?
yeah.
Yes.
What would you come out of?
He said Will Smith's genie role got me thinking about this. Rubbing a lamp is too simple.
Oh God.
Okay.
Ooh, I got it.
Stroke Brad Pitt's cock, and I come out of his cock.
What? Why Brad Pitt?
No,
Oh,
that's
his name's
stupid.
Brad.
You
Jesus Christ.
to summon me, you would have to beat perfection without holding the board down. You have to legitimately beat it with one twist of the dial, and you have to solve it without pushing down on the board.
That is a challenge.
Yes, that's the only way you could summon me.
Perfection?
Yeah. You gotta be quick, you're racing the clock.
Pop goes perfection.
Pop
Oh!
goes perfection.
Oh, God, I was thinking of like Trouble or
Put
something.
the pieces into the slot.
Yeah,
make
perfect.
the right selection.
Yeah.
But be quick, you're racing the clock. Bow! Pop goes perfection.
No! Wait, I'm
You have
thinking
to
of the
solve
one...
that before I would be
I'm
summoned.
thinking of Operation now.
Ooh.
That's different.
That's not that hard.
That's different and
I can
easier.
easily complete Operation.
I
I have
would-
all the time in the world.
I would be summoned any.
Perfection, you gotta fucking go
What about
fast.
Sorry? Sorry was a bad game.
Sorry, it was a horrible
I would
game.
be summoned every time someone successfully watched the entirety of the final season of Dexter.
Nick, you'd never get summoned.
I mean, that's kind of the point,
All
right?
right,
You
moving
have
on.
to make
You
it a
have to
challenge for people.
You
Next
asked
is the one with
I
Edward
feel-
James Olmos. That one was terrible,
Guy,
too.
I feel really sad. I feel really bad for making that joke because
You love Dexter.
I love Dexter.
Even the one
Even the ones that I hate, I love. Okay,
What are you?
that's season 6.
That's season 6.
When are you
That's not
doing
the
your
last
next rewatch?
I'm not done with my current rewatch because Robin
course.
can't handle watching stressful television. It's taking us like 6 months to watch Game of Thrones again. She can handle watching like one episode a week, and then she gets too stressed out. She's like, we gotta take a break. So as you can imagine, it's going very slowly. My Buffy rewatch, however, is going very well.
Next question from Thorax.
Thank you for asking.
Question of the week. True or false? Ratatouille can kick Stuart Little's ass.
I have never seen either one of those things.
Yeah,
No, it's
'cause
obviously true.
Ratatouille could
It's
just
obviously
control a
true.
man.
Yeah,
and
it's obviously
stomp
true.
on
He could use
Stuart
what?
Little.
What's his name to just stomp on him? Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
I thought Ratatouille was like the kitchen mouse.
He is.
Yes.
I don't think he's seen Ratatouille.
I haven't.
Okay.
Ratatouille is
or
really
Stuart
good.
He
Little.
controls a man by pulling on his hair.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
Nick, have you
did
not-
not get that joke.
Have you not played Kingdom Hearts 3?
I have, and I'm very confused anytime. Oh, no.
Oh, you're on Kingdom Hearts 3?
Wait, no, I'm not. Wait, is Ratatouille in Kingdom Hearts 3?
Wait.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
probably.
Stuart Little is a summon in Kingdom
his
Hearts
name is Remy,
2.
not
really?
Ratatouille, but
Wait,
correct.
what?
His name is Remy.
Yeah.
Oh.
They don't refer to him. They refer to him as Little Mouse or Little
yeah, it's true.
Little Chef.
Little Chef.
Little Chef is the only
He's,
thing.
he's voiced by Patton Oswalt.
He's not voiced
He's
at
not
all in the
voiced
game.
at all.
But,
yeah,
but in the movie, it's
in the
Patton
movie,
Oswalt.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway,
Little
moving on.
Chef.
Final question from Tack.
Lord.
You're covering for a video game protagonist who is taking a sick day. Whose job are you adequately able to do, assuming you have only your current knowledge?
Dante.
Shit.
Dante.
No, false.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Ooh. Papers, Please. From the main character of Papers, Please.
That's a good one.
I'm one of the set operators on Chroma Squad.
What about the Chell from Portal? Right? I mean, she doesn't have any special abilities that allows her to do that. She just is given the gun and she has to use her.
She also has her fancy leg thing, so you can fall 1,000 feet
Yeah.
without dying. I don't know.
But
If
hey,
I don't know if you'd actually survive that. Nick.
I would be having fun though until I died. I'm gonna go with Chell. It would force me to think a lot before I make any decision.
And then you'd fall into a pit of acid and die.
No, I would just be smart about my decisions.
I'm
Chris
sticking
Davis.
with Dante.
I mean, when you think about it, Brad, we meet Dante in Devil May Cry 5, literally sitting in a dark room because he didn't pay his power bill and it's like dark. I would imagine he spends a lot of his time just sitting in that room at his desk. You could probably make it through an entire
I can
day.
air juggle.
Wait,
Guy's got a good comment.
Nick
there.
can cover for 9S because all he needs to do is stare at 2B's butt and get choked. I'd be down.
Okay,
I'm sorry. That got weird, didn't it?
a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what the choking thing.
All right.
Usually I'm the one doing the sorry.
Did you
I'm-
see?
Jesus, man, we learned
Jesus
something
Christ.
about Nick.
You learn something new every
Understand.
podcast.
I'm sorry.
Did
All
you
that
not
works
beat
for
Nier
you? You're
You're
Automata?
not
Nick?
sorry.
What?
Did you not beat Nier Automata?
No, I did. No, I know what he's talking about.
Okay. Anyway, that's all the questions from our supporters on Twitch and our patrons on Patreon. Like we mentioned earlier, every week we post a thread, and you can, if you're a patron at the $1 tier or more, you can ask us any question you want. And if you're a supporter on Twitch, you just got to go into the supporters channel on Discord, and you can ask us a question there.
Again, I want to encourage everybody, if you are interested in supporting us on Patreon at the $1 tier, you can, like you said, you can literally ask us anything, and you get priority access for our community nights. Our first one being next Thursday night, so check that out. And if for $3 at the $3 tier or higher, you can help. You can join our new game club, which I think we're gonna come up with a better name for it. I don't know what the fuck it's gonna be called, but I'm pretty excited to try it out, and it'll hopefully give everybody an opportunity to maybe play some stuff, try some stuff that you never would have played, and have good conversations with other people in the community, and, you know, it'll be fun. So check that out. Patreon.com/4Player.
Mm-hmm.
And now, it is time to wrap up the show with the 4-Player Minute. Y'all know how it works. Hype, sweat, thank you, fuck you, or any combination thereof. Brad, are you going to start us off?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess my sweat is going to be for whatever Google's about to announce, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it could dramatically change the way we play games, think about games. You know, we could see some of our favorite developers going to exclusively do whatever the fuck Google's doing. You know, scary stuff like that happens sometimes when
It does.
big people enter the you know.
But hey, last
race.
time, like a new player like really entered the field for, you know, hardware development, it was Microsoft, and
Yeah, and
we
they
got the
bought Rare
No.
and
I
like
mean-
made them shit.
That's true.
But
That
also,
is true.
even more recently, Amazon bought out Double Helix.
Yeah,
and they did nothing.
And other developers, and now like what?
But-
right?
but
If
again,
even if they fail, it's
Amazon
bad.
Amazon isn't in hardware development. If this is a hardware announcement, and we're looking
Amazon
at
has a decent amount of hardware.
does a
Yeah.
decent amount of hardware, and I bet they were like planning on not explicitly video game hardware, but you know,
well,
like
that's what I'm
tablets and
saying. Like
devices and-
there's not like a dedicated Amazon box that serves as like a major competitor to PlayStation or Xbox.
I mean,
and we
Is
don't
there
know
for
if Google.
No,
yeah.
but like that's what I'm saying. If next week they announce that they are entering the console market with like their own competitor to Xbox,
Nick,
and
I guarantee you
PlayStation,
Amazon's looking into something. I
Yeah.
guarantee
Yeah, that's the
you.
thing. If this is successful for Google, there's nothing stopping Amazon from jumping in.
I mean,
because that's just
that-
what happens.
that's
It-
exciting.
I mean,
though.
if you think about it, Alexa is just like 2 steps away from becoming something like that.
I don't know about
gonna
2
be
steps.
playing fucking
Maybe like a dozen steps, but I see where you're going with that.
like, you know, you want to play Grand Theft Auto, you better have a subscription to Hulu Games because that's the only place it's at.
Hey man, the whole world's gonna, the whole gaming world.
I saw some weird ass rumors that Sony was looking into buying like Take
Take-Two.
Two.
That was
Yeah.
that was a rumor that was debunked.
That's insane.
If
Who
that,
believed it?
that rumor, not only was it debunked, it affected their stock price.
Yeah. Actually went up like 3%.
Oh my god!
If anybody would do it, it'd be Microsoft. No, Google.
I thought it went down.
It'd be Google. Okay, so but my hype is for Sekiro.
Xbox, order extra small.
Sekiro
condoms.
Shadows Die Twice, which comes out in
That was
just
also
over
my hype.
over a week. That game looks incredible. There's
Dude,
been a lot of
I'm
new.
so sad. I thought it was coming out tomorrow, and then I was like, "Fuck, man, it's another week."
That game, everyone I think is going to be playing that game, and it's going to be crazy.
I am fully erect.
It's going to
for
be a
that game.
big deal. It's going to be a big deal. I think.
One
Way-
of
way more
one of
than
my
Devil May
favorite things
Cry.
from E3 last year.
My thank you goes to Lady from the Devil May Cry series for being so dope. There is a suggestion that there might be some DLC featuring Lady and another character coming soon, and maybe not soon, but you know, whatever. I just want to thank Lady for being the coolest character in the Devil May Cry universe. You have to play Devil May Cry 3 to find out. And my fuck you goes to Trish because Trish sucks. Trish always sucked. She's boring. She's never been a great character. She sucks in Devil May Cry 5. Get rid of her. What I want to see crossover adventures with Lady and Nico, where Nico is giving Lady all her heavy weaponry, and then they fall in love, of course. And my dream is that it's part Devil May Cry, part Twisted Metal, where you play as Nico in the van. Make it, Capcom. Be sick.
Be sick.
So fuck Trish. She's boring and she sucks and she's never been good. I mean, the best she's ever been was in the intro to the first Devil May Cry, where she throws a motorcycle at Dante. And then in the only other time she had personality Wasn't Devil May Cry 4 where she was technically in blackface?
Oh my god, really?
What?
She was Gloria.
I don't remember, dude. I don't remember.
I
don't remember
played
this.
It, so.
I don't remember this.
Maybe I'll need to
Wow.
play Devil May
Wasn't
Cry 4.
she at least playable in like the special edition?
Yeah.
Was
That
she
is-
all right in that?
I mean, I guess.
I feel like
Christian
I don't
Born-
know. I'm
I feel
asking
like
questions
almost every character that you play as in any Devil May Cry game is all right until you start playing as Dante, and then it's like, well, fuck.
Devil May Cry 4 was stupid, but it's pretty fun to play.
Nolan?
Yep, my 4-player minute starts now. My hype is, like I said, is also for Sekiro. I am very excited for that game. My sweat is for Devil May Cry 5. I don't know what to think about it yet. I'm gonna keep playing it. We'll see where it goes.
At least let yourself get to Dante before you decide
yeah.
to make any final decisions on it.
I will. My thank you goes to community, everyone on Twitter. I was tweeting while I was in Hawaii asking for suggestions on things to do, and I got some pretty good advice, and I'm glad I listened to y'all. And then my fuck you is gonna go to Nico, because fuck you.
You only said that because of what I said during my 4-player minute.
What'd you say?
Fuck Trish.
No, I'd already had that written down.
Nico, lady spinoff. Okay, fine.
I had read that written down from earlier.
Nolan started this whole fiasco on Twitter earlier by validating my belief that Nico was not great.
I will say, you said you noticed that maybe she was flirting with Nero, but in reality,
No,
she only ever shows attraction towards women.
No, you're right. No, but like the scene that I posted on Twitter was literally
It was just
like
confusing.
It was like you could watch the emotions on her face and like try and figure out what she was thinking, and I was like, I don't know what's going through her mind right now. It is bizarre. That whole scene is just like she goes from like being like really flustered about something to being really assertive, and then back to just being like, I don't know what. It was just a weird. But yeah, you're right. For a second, I was like, was she? I thought she was like having a moment where she was like all hot and bothered or something by Nero. And then I was like, well, maybe she was just nervous because she almost drove a van over a cliff. I don't know what the fuck happened. It was weird. It was hard to read.
We know she actually wants to fuck ladies, so
I would be okay with this. Sorry. Chris Davis, I know you weren't expecting to be on the show last minute. Do you have a 4-player minute
I'll
for
pull
us?
one out of my ass right now.
All right. Gross. Do it.
brought to you by your Division hype.
No, actually, no, nothing for Division because I just started. I haven't gotten a chance to really play it. My first hype this week goes to my new apartment that I just moved into. Now that I'm starting to actually unpack boxes and shit, I've decided to have my living room be all about current gen, and then I will have my entertainment setup in my bedroom be all about retro stuff.
He's compartmentalizing his games into different rooms.
In which room do you make love to a woman? Because I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's in the closet.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey.
It's a spacious closet, sir. There's room.
Is
to
this
lay down. My second hype this week goes to Sekiro. I'm actually pretty excited for that game. This will be my second Soulsborne experience, and I've been wanting like a Tenchu or Ninja Gaiden experience for a while after playing The Messenger.
Your first one was Bloodborne, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't remember.
So, my third hype this week is for E3 because this afternoon, I got my approval for a media badge.
But are we going?
We're going.
Are we
I've
going?
been approved. I'm going. I don't know if you're going.
I
I'm going.
got approved. I don't know if I'm going.
Well, then
I'm trying to figure that shit out, man. I don't.
You're
gonna figure it
I
out.
heard people talking today that like again, thread out some speculation that maybe Bethesda's not going to be there.
Really?
Because they would have already announced their
What is
shit
going to
by
be
now.
there? What is going to be there?
Because typically in the past, Bethesda has already announced.
Well, Bethesda is confirmed to have id at the GDC announcement for Google.
Okay.
Okay. You know something's coming from Tango, probably.
Do you
I
know that?
hope so. We don't know that.
I would be shocked, honestly.
I mean,
I think it's a little early, but
and it may be a little early to talk about Star.
all they
what's his
really
name?
have is Doom. I mean, maybe
Star.
Hey, Doom is something to be excited for.
But not like
I'm
gonna
not
get,
saying
But
that-
not I'm gonna get on a plane and fly to Los Angeles excited.
All I'm saying is
I'm not
that
gonna get on
people
a
were
plane for one
speculating
company.
that they would have already announced and they haven't yet, so it's a little weird.
I'm really skeptical because I'm starting to wonder if there's enough to justify the cost of and the time like with Sony not there and EA already pulled off the show floor.
Well,
and-
Microsoft's coming back.
yeah, but like
Nintendo's going to be there.
Microsoft.
How can you not be excited for Nintendo?
Do we expect Microsoft to pick up all that slack? I don't know.
I mean, who knows? We'll find out. Also, remember, this is the last year before we get like the major next gen stuff.
I know.
In fact, a lot of what
which
we
could
will
make this the most boring year ever.
but
like,
also
I
a
think
lot of
they'll
what we'll
talk about
see
next
this year
gen.
at E3 is stuff that is going to be next gen.
Yeah.
They just won't say it's next
Yeah,
gen.
this is going to be
I mean,
like
we do
the
know
this
Watch
is going to be the hype
Dogs,
shit.
You know, like this is where we're going to see a game and they're like, this looks too nice. And then
Of
they don't
course.
say that it's next gen.
course.
Like Watch Dogs.
This is where we're going to get the announcements like deep down for
Yeah.
games that are never going to come out, but we can get hype for.
Yeah.
you're right. I'm still trying to figure out.
Final Fantasy VII remakes.
And exactly. And my thank you this week goes to patrons who are going to fund me going to E3. Thank y'all. I really appreciate it.
And me maybe.
No,
We'll
you're-
see. We'll see.
Fine.
It's gonna be.
Don't
It's
go.
gonna
I'll
be.
go alone.
It's gonna be a skeleton crew, one way or
I don't
the other.
care.
I don't know. I hope E3 is good, man.
I'd like to go.
Are you saying you'd like to go and that's a possibility, or you'd like to go but you know you can't?
Yes, the latter.
Okay. Just clarifying. Anyways, all right. My 4-player minute starts now. My hype, like most people in this room, is Sekiro. I totally thought it was coming out tomorrow, though, so now I'm really
Sekiro.
bummed. But yeah, that game looks absolutely fucking incredible.
It looks
and
good.
I
It looks
cannot
bonkers,
wait to
yeah.
play it. Especially, I'm feeling kind of down playing Devil May Cry because a lot of the stuff that I mentioned earlier, and I'm just kind of hoping that like
Let's see
I
where you're
feel-
at next week.
you're right, we will. But I'm just looking forward to playing a game that
There's
has
some cool moments.
some beautiful environments that are more very. I don't know. You know, dude, the environments in like Souls games are fucking incredible, and I'm like, I need that right now, man. I need it because Devil May Cry is not giving it to me. My thank you this week actually goes to the Alamo Draft House. Went and saw Captain Marvel last weekend, and it was Rob and I.
Whoa, you
Rob
hate
and I,
white man.
no, Rob and I tend to go to movies quite a bit. It's kind of like our go-to date night kind of thing. But we hadn't gone at all in 2019 yet, so I tweeted. And I was like, "It's our first date night of the year. It's long overdue." Blah blah blah. And you know, I posted a picture of the Captain Marvel glass that we got, and then the Alamo Draft House tweeted back at me and said, "It's been far too long since you came for a date night. Here, the next one's on us." And they gave us free tickets to a movie of our choosing.
Nice.
So that's pretty dope. And I was like, and Robin like rolls her eyes to the back of my head. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna take a picture and tweet. You're such an Instagrammer or something." And then I get free tickets. I was like, that's why I tweet. But yeah, that was very, very nice. So we're gonna probably go see that
I didn't
Pet
get
Cemetery.
I never get the pint
Pet
glass.
Cemetery.
Pet Cemetery or Shazam. One of those probably.
When do those come out?
April 5th. Both of them. Actually, we're thinking about doing a double feature and going to see both on the same day.
What?
Oh no.
No, what? What? No?
This is just like those aren't even like
Shazam is getting really good early buzz.
Yeah.
And
No, that's great.
Pet
and the
Cemetery is
last
gonna be
Stephen
any
King
good.
movie that they put out was pretty damn good.
No,
So-
I understand that. I'm just saying those are two very different things. I don't want to watch one after the other.
Oh, I totally want to watch one and then watch. I want to watch
those are
specifically.
not the peanut butter and chocolate.
I
coming
specifically want to watch Pet Cemetery and then watch Shazam right after it.
That might be good to kind of like, yeah,
So just like so I'm not totally fucked up because I have a
all
feeling.
lighthearted kind of.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, that was really fucking cool. So big thanks to them. My hype / thank you for the week goes to Fangamer, who you may have noticed put out finally announced their Hollow Knight physical edition that you can buy now, and including a pretty slick ass collector's edition. And it's coming out in May. And I've been saying this for months that I really, really, really wanted a physical edition of Hollow Knight. And I'm playing that game right now. It's so fucking good. I didn't hesitate for 1 second to drop like full price for the collector's edition. I'm triple dipping on Hollow Knight.
It does look
That
pretty
game
good.
is so good, and
Get
that
that little
collector's edition
brooch.
looks dope, and it deserves every fucking penny.
You know, they're putting out a physical edition of The Messenger on PS4.
I'm a little
Nick
less.
likes good
I'm
games.
a little less enthused about that, but I see where you're going
How
with
dare
that,
you.
and I'm.
How dare you, sir?
I say whatever I want.
That is
It's
true. No one
2019.
does say whatever the fuck he wants.
I'm over here playing Devil May Cry 5 on my phone.
Wait, what?
What?
Are-
Why?
Are you
No, they released the.
Oh yeah,
remote.
the Steam beta thing.
No, the remote play.
Dude, that
Oh,
game
okay.
that game is probably a nightmare to try and play on that. Effectively, I mean.
Yeah, effectively. Yeah.
Anyways, that's oh god, I think I have one more. I don't have another. I'll just say my sweat, like we said a minute ago. My sweat's E3, man. I don't know what to think about E3 this year. I'm really bummed that Sony's not going to be there. I don't have a lot of faith in Microsoft picking up the slack. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they come in this one super strong. And while I'm excited for Nintendo, I do know it's going to be a booth that's mostly Pokemon, which is cool. I would love to see some Pokemon, but like, man, if they don't bring anything else, like, I don't know if it's worth it, man. I don't know if it's worth it, which would suck. It'd be the first E3 I've missed in 8 years, I think, and that's kind of just very sad. It's typically E3 is like my favorite time of the year. I love going on that trip. It's like my favorite week of the year because of all the announcements and flying to LA and all the food they have there that I love. You know, that kind of shit. And if I don't go, I'm gonna be bummed. But I don't know. Maybe
Just
I'll
think about that sausage that you want.
Oh, that
I just had to say it that way. Yeah.
that came out wrong. But I
did-
know what you're talking about, and I am thinking about the sausage.
I did a double feature once. That was I remembered. I feel like you remember double features more often, right?
Yeah.
It was Shrek and The Animal.
What?
with Rob Schneider.
That sounds like a truly.
My condolences.
That sounds like a truly terrible double
I think
feature.
I saw The Animal after. Hey, Shrek is.
The Shrek's fun. Wait, which one did you watch first?
History
Yeah.
forgets. Everyone loved Shrek when it came out.
First
I think
Shrek's
I saw
pretty good.
Shrek first and then The Animal.
If it was the other way around, probably would have been better.
Probably.
Of course.
People, Farrah can
Shrek
chat.
is a far more entertaining movie than The Animal.
I think there's a shit ton of movies that are a lot better than The Animal.
There's a lot. I don't know what to go see, man. There's actually some pretty decent stuff out there that I'm interested in seeing, but I know we're pretty set on Pet Cemetery for sure.
Yeah.
Not 100% sold on Shazam yet. We'll see what happens.
I'm excited for it.
That looks pretty all right.
Yeah, I'm just skeptical because of the DC thing. I hope it turns out well.
But this is like a DC movie that's not trying to be a DC movie.
True.
And also, remember the last DC movie was all right.
Wait, which one was the last?
Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Oh, haven't seen that yet.
Neither
Has
have
anyone
I.
seen that?
I have not.
I've seen it. It's not bad.
Oh, that's the bar for DC nowadays.
It's like
it's not bad.
That's a box quote if I've ever seen one.
What? Isn't Us coming out soon?
Yes, I already have. The thing is, I
Yeah.
already have tickets for that.
Oh,
I'm excited for that one.
That's coming out next
that
weekend.
legitimately looks horrifying.
oh yeah.
I'm
But
pretty.
There's actually some cinematography shots in Aquaman that are really good.
I don't doubt it. I'm gonna watch it. When it eventually comes out on video. Speaking of Us, I totally wouldn't have hesitated to buy Us tickets immediately when I got those free tickets, except I already had them. So
Cool.
that game looks. I mean, that movie
Yeah.
looks incredible,
wow.
and it debuted at South by and getting rave reviews already.
It's still at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It still
God
is. Jesus.
damn!
52.
Thank you, Jordan
reviews.
Peele. Thank you.
God,
My thank you of the week goes to Jordan Peele. Which I'm assuming I'm gonna like Us. I'm not.
Oh,
not
wow.
100%
and don't forget
certain.
about Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that looks cool. Dude, the cast of that looks crazy. If you watch that trailer, all the cameos and that,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, oh my god, weird. Anyways, oh yeah, and by the way, just as an aside, I know we didn't talk about movies much this week, but Captain Marvel is pretty damn good.
It is.
Go check it out. Anyways, that's going to be it for our show tonight, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in supporting us, please check us out at patreon.com. Like I said, there's some updates on there. We're going to be doing our first community night next week. We hope you will join us for it. If you have some ideas about what we might play, or if you want to get priority access and jump in with us and play with us next week, be sure to leave us a comment on the post that we made on patreon.com.
Yep.
And yeah, so like we'll do another podcast in 2 weeks. We'll be talking about Sekiro. It's pretty fucking exciting. At that point, I think we'll all have a good 4 or 5 days with it. So
Yeah.
have plenty to talk about.
Sekiro.
Might have other games to talk about as well.
I'm not going to
The
have
Division
much time
2
with it
maybe?
because
I mean, your words, not
I'm doing some
mine.
bullshit.
Not mine.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you guys for the community night next week, and we'll join you again for another podcast in 2 weeks' time. Good night.
Bye.
Night.